Like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show, weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillars. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right
to live? Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media, and you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead, hit that like button, because you already know what time it is. And you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've seen other people do it well. But what you have not seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this. And it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content now. Share it through your social media. Share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, today we are here and we're going to talk about a very interesting subject, something that Black men should very much be aware of, and something that a lot of Black women should be made to be aware of, okay? Something that Black women should be made to be aware of. We're going to deal with this regular thing that happens in Black America, y'all, okay? But does it really ever go that way? Does it really ever go that way? Does it really? We're going to deal with the fact that we're going to deal with Black women never get charity from Black men. Yep, that's what we're talking about, y'all. Black women never get charity from Black men. And I know, very interesting title, but we're going to keep it real in this one. We're going to keep it real in this one, okay? But this definitely needs to be discussed amongst Black people themselves, okay? So shout out to everybody out there. But before we get too deep into it, I got to give credit what credit is due. We got people who support the channel in all kinds of ways, and I appreciate y'all. Thank you for everybody who gives the channel the views, okay? I'm glad you find this to be at your listening pleasure, all right? I got to give shouts out to everybody who makes comments after the stream, because that helps with the algorithm. So thank you very much for everyone who does that. All right. I also want to give a shout out to everybody who hits that like button, y'all. And regardless of how old the stream is, make sure you hit that like button because it helps. From a collective standpoint, it just helps to get likes from the channel. I know there's something new about hyping somebody up, so y'all make sure y'all hype up the channel whenever you get a chance. Okay, whenever you get a chance, make sure you do that. And also, you know, we got to give credit where credit is due because we have people who give financial support to the channel. And that's an extremely important thing. And I cannot do things the same way without these people stepping up to the plate. So shout out to the sponsor of today's stream, my main man, you know, good brother, Shark Sims, y'all. He is the sponsor of today's stream. Much appreciated, especially from him. You know, he rock with me real solid, y'all. He rock with me real solid. He's definitely good people. So shout out to Shark Sim, the sponsor of today's stream. Appreciate you big time, my brother. Appreciate you big time. Can't really say how much. Appreciate you big time. And let me get some shout outs to some of the first people to check in this morning, because when you start the show, it's always good to see people checking in, you know. But if y'all know how it goes over here, there can only be one. And y'all, I don't know how it works. I see people making comments and then I start to show the comments gone. I don't know how it works. I see people be trying to get in early. So you can come in too early, but you can come in too late. I don't know where the middle ground is. You got to figure that out. You got to figure that out. But all I can say is, hey, we here. And I got to say shout out to the Highlander of today's stream. Okay. First one in, my main man, Floyd Thompson, is the one checked in as the Highlander of the stream. I don't know what to tell the folks who came in before. Okay. I don't know how it works, y'all. I can only deal with what I can deal with. And to make it fair, I gotta be fair to people. So shout out to Floyd Thompson. He is the Highlander of today's stream. Shout out to my main man, Trail Bentley. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you representing like he always does. Hashtag long live the habitual line steppers. Hashtag Negroes in the wilderness. Hashtag dignity over vagina. Hashtag Al Gore's baby. And hashtag Hail Hydra. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you, brother. Always glad to see you. We got Inspired Truth Broadcast in the building as well. We got the pitmaster himself, Chef Mike's Roundtable is in the building. Glad to see you, of course. Glad to see you. Shout out to Music Man 1982. Good to have you, brother. Good to have you. Yeah, and I know a lot of folks. Well, shout out to Irvin Reed is in the building. Great to have you as well. Of course, great to have Irvin Reed in the building. You know, and I know a lot of folks y'all was looking. I know it took a while for me to get the stream up today. I'd say it was a rough night last night. That's what I say, y'all. It was a rough night last night. So it took a little work this morning. Took a little work. But shout out to White Skin Man Cave coming through as well. Glad to see y'all here. Glad to see y'all here. We gonna get started with this, y'all, because this is a concept that Black men really need to, you know, flex a little bit about. I guess, you know, maybe that's the right word for it. Flex about this just a little bit. But we need to let folks know what's going on because, you know, part of the disruption between the common Black man and the common Black woman in America. All right. Shout out to all my people listening around the world. You know, appreciate y'all being here and checking in. I know some places are similar to America. I know some places have some differences. But for everybody who can use the type of information I give over here, I'm glad you're able to take it and use it wherever you happen to be. And that's real talk. Love and appreciate y'all. Shout out to the replay gang for the people who can't catch us at the lives. You know, it's great that we see sometimes we see other folks or people get comments who we never really see in the live broadcast. So shout out to the replay gang, period. Shout out to the replay gang. All right. But we're going to deal with this, y'all. Black women never get charity from Black men. And I'm speaking about this because this is an attitude that goes on between Black men and Black women. And somebody needs to call it out. There's an attitude that goes on between Black men and Black women as if Black men do not give charity to Black women. All right. Now, it's up to every man to decide how much charity he want to give to somebody. Number one is your money. All right. And then when it comes to black men, you basically have an entire country. This entire country of America does believe that they should be able to tell black men what to do with their money. We have been trained that way. You will hear men telling other men what they need to do with their money. You will hear black women telling black men what to do with their money. You will hear all types of folks from other cultures telling black men what to do with their money. All types of groups of people are telling black men what to do with their money, as if we ain't the ones that earned it. Okay? As if we're not the ones that earned it. And we do have to deal with the fact that when it comes down to it, you can give charity to people. What you cannot control is how they receive it. That's the thing. You can give charity to people, but you cannot control how they receive it. And a lot of people like to push this stuff that black men don't do enough for black women. You will hear people say, see, the problem with you black men is y'all ain't doing this and y'all ain't controlling that, as if any of this has something to do with black women's behavior toward black men. We'll have people who believe they really, really smart, okay, in this area. Because I've told y'all before, you can be brilliant in one area of life and then just be an absolute disaster in other areas. They'll say, the problem with y'all is y'all need to control the industry. That's what y'all need to do. That's what y'all need to do. You need to control the industry. As if that's going to have anything to do with how black women are going to look at black men. A lot of folks, we are, as men, we are afraid to just say black women are who they choose to be. We scared to say it. Because a lot of us been raised by black women. And truth be told, we ain't never trying to piss a black woman off directly or indirectly. To think about what a black woman might hear, if she hears anything that comes from us as black men that she don't like, we get terrified. And that's just real talk at the end of the day. So we will babble about nonsense that means nothing in order to make sure she's satisfied, in order to make sure she's happy. When she hears something about what's been said, she better like it. And that's the attitude a lot of black men take. Now, is this helpful? No. We see what goes on in the black community. So is it helpful? You got to ask yourself that. What do you see the evidence of it? Do you see the evidence of it? Okay. Because I don't see it. Now, what I do see is a lot of nonsense that goes on. And I do see a lot of people pushing for certain messaging so black men can, quote unquote, fall in line. That is what a lot of folks want. Okay, that's what a lot of folks want. This whole country want black men to, quote unquote, fall in line. And they do a whole lot of stuff to make sure that we do. Now, let's think about this idea, because a lot of black men don't get it either. A lot of black men have come out and even said that the problem with black men is black women cannot depend on y'all. You hear people say stuff like this. I mean, it's complete mess and nonsense, but people push these ideas. And they have reasons for pushing these ideas. Now, be realistic. Why y'all think somebody would say that black women can't depend on black men, as if we don't subsidize them just about their entire lives? Okay? Because when you think about it, when black girls are girls, who gives them stuff? Okay? Their dads will. If they don't have a dad around, other black men will. Let's be realistic about this. Where have you seen black men who just watch girls suffer? You don't really see that. Black men, naturally want to help girls. So they give them stuff. It's that simple at the end of the day. Now, the thing is, you can only give them so much because if it ain't your daughter, people make a big deal of it. So you can only give them so much. But if a girl needs something and that need is presented amongst black men pretty much take care of whatever some girl needs. They don't leave girls out there to be all messed up. I'm not saying a girl can't be messed up, but if it's asked for, black men digging a pocket to give some charity. Well, you got this little girl who needs this, that, and that. And black men to donate to whatever the quote unquote cause is. Okay. I told y'all they used to give me every year. You know, I used to put in money every year for kids going back to school so they can get this and get that until I realized what y'all need my money for. These these children got parents. Why y'all need my money? But I would give money to all them little back to school this and back to school that. You know, thinking I'm helping. Okay, thinking I'm helping. But when you start thinking about it, you realize you're not helping. You're just making sure that black women are in a position that they don't have to do what they're supposed to do. And you're supplementing them being able to not do the things they're supposed to do. Okay? Somebody got to pay for the stuff regardless. And it ends up being a whole lot of black men. Now, you have the government that'll give black women money in all types of various ways, in all types of various programs. And let's be real about it. For a lot of black women, that's all it takes. They don't want to respect you because number one, they just don't want to respect you. And I know that's hard for black men to accept. They don't want to respect you because they don't want to respect you. All right. And black men try to, we try to apply logic that doesn't need to be applied and just doesn't fit because we want to figure something out like it's a logical conclusion. And truth be told, a lot of it's just emotion. We want to make it logical so we can beat it. That's what men will do from time to time. We'll see something, we want to make it logical so we can beat whatever that thing is. So a lot of men say, hey, you know what? The reason black women don't respect black men is because we ain't did this for them. We ain't did that for them. And they trying to somehow make this logic work in their head because they want to beat it. If I would just do this, if I would just do that, if I would just, buy this thing, if I would just earn this amount of money, if I would drive this type of car, then somehow, black women will respect me. Okay? And the sad part is, a lot of black men, we preoccupy ourselves with trying to get black women to respect us. There's a lot of things we could do if we cared nothing about their respect, and we don't do it because we so worried about them respecting us. And that's just real talk at the end of the day. And a lot of us don't recognize, hey, you know what? This money is ours. We earned it. We should do what we want with it. Black women always got a plan for your money. They always got a plan for your money. And they like to be disrespectful to you if you don't want to put your money in some place, especially when it's nonsense, that you just don't want your money to go, even though you owe her nothing. Real talk. Even though you owe her nothing. But that's the way they like to do it. All right? That's the way they like to do it. And the thing is, as long as we keep falling for it, they going to keep it up. And that's real talk. As long as we keep falling for it, they going to keep it up. Because when it come down to it, excuse me, when it come down to it, they like it just the way it is. And they'll try to make you feel sad for how it is, even though they do a whole lot to get things to be how it is that they don't like. But they'll blame you for it as a man. They definitely will. Now, shout out to my main man, Trail Bentley. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. He says in the Cash App, y'all, and he dropped that $5.57 Trail Bentley tax. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you, my brother. He said, charity starts at home. She ain't in my home. Now, shout out to Trail Bentley. And that needs to be said, y'all. That needs to be said. A lot of black men really need to hear this more and more and more. Charity does start at home. And she's not in my home. That's real talk. Because when you think about the things that are being hurled at black men, what you have is a bunch of women who believe they need more access to your money. You don't have a bunch of women who say, we love y'all and we want access to you. No, we have a bunch of black women who say, no, we really can't tolerate y'all and we want access to your money. That is what we want. Access to your money. All right. Now, when it comes down to it, we got to remember it's your money. Okay, it's your money. And one thing black men need to really accept is your money is for you. Okay, your money is for you. You went to work, you earned it. All right, because that's most black men's situation. Most of us don't have a bunch of money that we didn't earn. Now, I'm not going to say it's not possible to run into a black man who has money that he didn't earn. Maybe you know somebody and they come from a rich family, he got some bread that he didn't necessarily earn. But the average black man, he working with the money he earned himself. Okay, he's working with the money he earned himself. And because he's working with the money he earned himself, don't need to be so worried about what black women talking about. If you want to be the leader of your home, you got to take on the leadership role, period, regardless of what she thinks. And women will say, well, why don't we give to this or why don't we give to that? I'm basically here to say, black men, we should really start thinking about what we do with our extra money. And if you're giving it to someone, why not give it in a place where it's going to help a black man? We will throw a ton of money away. And it's almost like we're throwing it in the garbage because we're giving money to single mother issues. Now, these single mothers could be married women at the end of the day. They could be. If they was around and got long enough for him to get her pregnant, then they could be married. Okay? She didn't see marrying a black man as a viable option, though. You could say that about some women. Because women do want to get married. I know a lot of y'all want to believe they don't want to get married. And I'm saying that is y'all saying something because you're trying to logically make it fit. Black women want to get married. They just don't want to get married to you because you're a black man. It's not something that you did. It's not how you are. It's not how you talk. It's not how you dress. It's not the car you drive. It's not where you live. Black women don't even have standards, period. You can look at who black women had a child by and clearly see they just generally don't have standards at all. And black men keep trying to put something on them that ain't there. Well, see, these women want this guy who make $100,000. Y'all be saying that. If anything, they gonna get that from y'all. They clearly ain't got no standards. Okay? They clearly ain't. People talk about Pookie. Okay, Pookie won't work. Pookie could work, but he won't work. Pookie ain't never had a struggle when it came to black women. He ain't never had a struggle. There's always women. Okay? That's just what it is. There's always women around. Now, the thing is, they don't mind being with a Pookie. And then they'll tell you who's not a Pookie, somebody who actually gets up and goes to work on a regular basis. They'll say, y'all need to give money to this and y'all need to give money to that. Why y'all think it's so hard for black women to break up with a man? Okay? because I know we don't break up with women, which is something we definitely need to get right about ourselves. But why is it hard for Black women to break up with a man? Because a Black woman will be with somebody, so we're gonna call him guy A. That's her quote unquote boyfriend. All right, she with guy A. She becomes unsatisfied in the relationship. So what does she want? She wants somebody else. So what does she do? She don't just break up with guy A. Now, a lot of them will go and get guy B and see if guy B is a good replacement for guy A, because she wants to hold on to the benefits she get from guy A before the breakup real. So she'll start messing around with guy B while having access to benefits of guy A. And if guy B don't work out, then she'll, let me make some adjustments. Let me get rid of guy B because he's not going to be a good replacement for guy A. So let me get with guy C. Now, if she finds guy C to be a suitable replacement for guy A, then she'll just move on to guy. She'll just move on to guy C. You know? And guess what, y'all? If guy C don't work out, she'll go get guy D. She gonna do what she got to do to get what she want. And as Black men, we sitting there like we ain't did enough. Okay. A Black woman make a lot of ridiculous requests on Black men. There are people in relationships who got kids. A lot of times you got a Black man who is dating a single mother. Sometimes it's a Black man with kids himself, but he's also dating a single mother. And Black women will say, well, Christmas came around and you didn't do this and you didn't do that. Because she wants you to buy gifts for her children. Now, my thing is this. If you're dating a woman with children and them children ain't yours, then them children ain't yours. How you gonna tell me what I gotta spend on your kids? Okay, how you gonna tell me what I have to spend on your kids? If I give your children anything, you lucky they got something. How you gonna tell me what to spend on your kids? Now, if you a man with kids yourself, if she gonna tell you what to spend on her kids, why you not telling her what she got to spend on your children? Okay, see how that work out with her. Well, you want me to buy your kids this? What you buy my kid? See how that work out? I see. I know that becomes very problematic when it comes to what she's willing to do. She's gonna try to run that kid game, but if you happen to have kids yourself, tell her give you, you're gonna spend the same thing I spent on yours. Now, shout out to Compassion Encounters. He says we got 41 watching, y'all. Okay. Well, no, I think he meant 41 likes with 80 watching. Now, see, that's not cool, y'all. How y'all gonna be 80 deep? Y'all 80 deep in the chat and we only got 41 likes. Come on, man. Get the likes up, y'all. That's a little ridiculous. Now, I understand some of y'all come in here and y'all get compelled by something here or there and you just start watching. I get that, but come on, man. Hit that like button, y'all. Y'all know it's important. Real talk. Y'all know it's important. So don't be tripping like that. That's tripping. Okay. Y'all can't be that deep in the chat and ain't got no likes. Okay. I can see if this was later on in the show, maybe, but man, come on now. Y'all coming in, hit the like on your way in. What's so bad about that? Hit the like on your way in. All right. Shout out to Kevin 3905. He said compassion is a snitch. We ninja watching. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. Hey, man. Compassion just trying to be helpful around here. That's all. He trying to make sure we all on point. He just trying to make sure we all on point. All right. Now, y'all, if you ain't got no kids and you allowing some woman to put pressure on you about what you post about her kids, you know, I don't see why, number one, you would allow pressure to be on yourself, because number one, they ain't your kids. That's just is what it is. If you want to be a quote unquote nice man, still got to remember, them ain't your kids, okay? Them ain't your kids. They lucky to get anything from you. Now, I'm going to say this again, y'all. For those who are going to date single mothers, until you actually have proposed and you have set a wedding date, don't just propose. If you have proposed and set a wedding date, there's no real reason for you to be around her children. And that's real talk, y'all. I understand people gonna say it's convenient to do this and it's convenient to do that. No. If you don't love her like that, where you gonna marry her, what's the purpose of you being around her children? What is the purpose of children looking at you, knowing that, yeah, and they're gonna figure this out eventually. I don't care how small they are. Eventually they're gonna figure it out. This the guy that be tapping my mama. Children don't need to know all that. If it ain't their father, what they need to know about some other man tapping their mama? Now, at least if you get married, you become a stepdad. But they don't need to know all that, man. Children do not need to know every dick they mama done been on. Okay? I don't see how that's going to help them. I don't even know how that's going to help y'all in the future. She don't need, y'all, we talk about what some kids do. All right, let's not put a bad example in front of them. They don't need to see you like that. If you're going to mess with a single mother, the kids don't need to see you. Okay? Let them children go to bed or whatever. Or when y'all go out on a date or something, let her get her babysitter and let you, go on off outside. They don't even need to, kids just don't even need to know what the heck going on. Real talk. They just don't even really need to know what's going on. But if they dating somebody, you don't know how it's going to go. It could be good, could be horrible. Kids don't need to see all that. All right. But you don't need no pressure on you about what you're supposed to do for her kids, because they're hers. And anytime a woman starts getting out of pocket with you about what you need to do for her children, remind her that those are your children. There's nothing wrong with that. Them your kids, they not mine. I don't want to involve myself with your children. It's that simple at the end of the day. If you're not fit to get married, what's the point? The only thing that's going to do is increase how much money you're going to end up spending by involving yourself with her children. Why do you need to do that? Okay. Shout out to Compassionate Guy. He say, Barrage, they're a package deal. And we all know women gonna throw stuff like this out here, y'all. Now, my thing is, yeah, they are a package deal. If I marry you, that means I'm accepting the package. If I'm not marrying you, I'm not accepting the package. And if you want to do something for her kids, you can get something for her kids and give it to her. The kids don't need to see you. It's that simple at the end of the day. They don't need to see. You don't need to be involved with her children. But the thing is, y'all, we don't get credit for the involvement we do give to their children. We don't get credit for what we do for the kids when they going back to school. We don't get credit for having Boy Scout troops that children can join. We don't get credit for doing work down at the local community center for the kids. The thing about charity toward Black men, charity Black men give toward Black women, Black women don't want to see it. Because even when you give them something, they act like you're supposed to give it to them. See, Black men need to really accept what happens in the world. When it comes to charity, it doesn't really make a difference how much charity we give them. Black women don't even see charity as charity. Black women are always talking about what Black men need to do. So what they're really truly doing is dry begging. Okay, they're begging. Black women stay begging, but they beg from a position as if it's an obligation for you to give them something. Black men don't protect us. That's begging. It's not begging for money per se, but it could include money because it really depends on what she means by protection. So that could include money because, some women want protection because they want shelter, they want food, they want clothing, but they ain't got no man and they find it difficult to pay bills. Okay, they find it difficult to pay bills. Even the women with the money, because there's always going to be some people who do a little better than other folks in a capitalized society. Even the ones with the money, they don't want to pay the bills. The saddest thing is you see the women who get the money. A lot of times they become worse than the women without the money. Okay, so you got enough money to get your own place. All right, but you want somebody else to pay your rent. Why? You working, ain't you? Baby, I need some help with the rent. Okay. You know, I I've said before, and unfortunately I've lost channels. I've shown videos before how you have women who bought homes and they complain about taking care of their own home. You bought the home. You the one went and made a deal with the bank. You the one put the down payment on the home. You the one bought the furniture for the home. You did all this stuff to get your own home. And you would think a woman would be just totally happy that she bought her own home, which means she bought the home she liked. She didn't have to look out for nobody else. She got exactly what she wanted to get. No pressure situation coming from anybody else. And what do a lot of women do? They literally complain about paying for their own home that they bought. They don't look at it like it's just a blessed position to be in that you can afford to buy your own home. It's still something they don't want to pay for. And really what's going on in their head is one of you niggas need to be in here paying for my home. That's what the problem is. You niggas ain't start paying for my home. Now, if you say something to a woman like, well, it's your home, you bought it. That don't have nothing to do with the fact she wants you to pay for it. And let's keep it real. A lot of black men have helped women take care of their home. They bought a home. They get a man. He come in. He paying bills because he lived there. And she'll throw him out at any moment like she never contributed. It's always dangerous to move into a woman's home. Because she get upset about something, she'll throw you out like you never did anything. But if you want to throw them out, they act like, the world is about to end. Well, why would you throw me out? I'm sure y'all have seen some of these videos of women snapping off about men throwing them out. Well, why would you throw me out? I didn't been here for you. I didn't do this. I didn't did that. Now is why you throw me out. When they upset, it's gone, get out and get out now. If you don't leave now, I'm calling the cops. But if you want to throw them out, it's a debate. It's a discussion. We need to talk about this. We need to re-examine our situation. And it's crazy. Now, there are actual charities that black men give money to that help black women. Because there's a lot of charities out there, and black women draw from those charities. Does the average black woman have the attitude that they are grateful to men they do not know, that give charities to them so they can do different things? Do y'all see women acting like that? Okay. Well, you know what? Shout out to Mr. Shook. I got to read this one. He say, You bought the home to have final say. Why are you simultaneously requiring someone else to pay for it? Where they do that at? That's definitely a play that Black women like to make. That's definitely a play they like to make. They want to buy the home, because they want to be able to say, you can't say nothing to me. I'm the boss of this. And then want you to pay for the home they bought. That's just crazy work. Okay, that's just crazy work. And Black men do see homes as our home, but Black women very much hold on to this is my home. Because some people, they like to argue, they like to try to make Black men into Black women and argue saying, well, but the women, but if you change the gender, nah, this ain't about all that, man. At the end of the day, Black men act like we have a home. Black women act like she got a home. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. So you do all these different things to help them out, but do they act like we do this stuff? Yeah, how many charities have Black women access money from? Now, of course, none of us is gonna know what some individual did as far as how much charities they've accessed, how much quote unquote grant money they were able to get. And they act like nobody puts money in this stuff. So I guess Black men don't give to no charity whatsoever. Well, see, this is the thing. In her mind, you didn't. You could pull up some receipts if you want to. You can show some paperwork that I gave X amount to this charity and things like that. She ain't gonna care. Because in a Black woman's mind, you can't give them charity. Okay? Think about that, y'all. In a Black woman's mind, can a Black man give her charity? Think about it, y'all. The way Black women act, have they ever received charity from you? Not what you actually did, but how she sees it. I'm talking about her perspective. Do you know a Black woman who really looked at you and see that you gave her some charity? Because basically the answer is no. And Black men don't want to put it out that they being charitable. And you can do this in various different ways. Black women would tell you to your face. What kind of dude is you? You always want something. I can't bring up nothing to you without you asking for something. They will literally try to shame you for not acting like they dead. All I'm trying to do is do this one little thing, and you act like you got to get something out of me because I'm asking for this. How many Black men? I mean, and I know the answer is basically none. We have not been trained to tell Black women we're not their daddy. You want something for nothing, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, that's human behavior. I want something for nothing too. I just don't go through life like I'm supposed to get something for nothing. If something for nothing comes, great. I'm gonna thank God. But I'm not gonna live my life as if I can go out and do nothing and get something. I understand that's not realistic. That ain't realistic at all. For me to go through life acting like I'm supposed to get something for nothing. And women would try to shame you, y'all. That's the amazing part. Okay, they try to shame you. You know the problem with men? You ask them for something, and they talking about they need some sex out you. Why would you ever say anything close to that unless you truly believe that these beings are supposed to give you something for nothing? Okay? You got to have this in your belief system. To complain that men want sex for giving you their time, their money, their energy, whatever it is, because women do this on a regular basis. You know, they always want something. Y'all done heard women say that plenty of times. They always want something. They always want. Why are you talking to me or talking even about me as if I'm not supposed to want something for something? Charity is cool, y'all. I'm never going to be anti-charity. God does want us to give a little charity here and there, y'all. But you are supposed to give out your abundance. All right? And the thing is, Black women need to understand that it is charity. It's that simple at the end of the day. They need to be confronted with the fact that they want charity. Wait a minute. You asking me to do something for you and you don't want me to ask for nothing in return? Yeah, why you gotta always ask for something? Do you understand that that's called charity? That's what you asking me for. You're asking me for charity. Now, I'm not gonna even say don't give charity at no point in time because God wants you to give charity. My thing is just be wise about how you give your charity. It is okay for you as a Black man to actually think about what you want your charity to do. You don't have to do it under a Black woman's conditions. Your charity should go to where you want to put it. I do personally give charity, but I've told y'all before, and I mean this, if it's toward a woman, the answer is just no. Okay? Y'all think I don't keep running? I mean, I live in a big city. You think I don't keep running into women begging for something? Of course, I keep seeing them, but I don't give them nothing no more. Period. That's over with. It's dead. I don't give nothing when it's time for kids to go back to school. I don't give nothing. If they want their kids to have a book bag, they can get it from the kid's dad. And for anybody who says, well, what if the dad ain't got it? Then dad can go get it. Now, why would I help some woman put her kid in a bad position? See, because I actually started thinking about this stuff, y'all. Why should I personally help some woman keep her children in a bad position? Because I'm supplementing her being able to do wrong to her kids. Why aren't your children with their dad? Well, let's keep it real. Because she can afford to not deal with him. And that's what it is for a lot of women. She can afford not to deal with him. Well, if you can afford not to deal with him, you can pay for stuff yourself. You don't need my charity to help you not deal with your kid's father. You know, you don't need my charity for that. Why would I give you money to keep children away from their father? How does that help us? If I give you money and you don't have to deal with your kid's father because somebody's giving you money, how did that help him as a father? Because I don't see it. I don't see it where it helped the children because they're being kept away from their dad. And I definitely don't see how it helped my pocket because I'm giving money away so you can keep children from their father. Well, I'm paying for somebody else to advertise to a future woman that she should keep my kids away from me. That's what I'm paying for at the end of the day. Why would I pay for that? See, we got to think about things in the correct terms. When you help a woman stay away from her children's father, you're paying a woman to advertise to your woman or to your son's woman that they should keep children away from you or your son. And you might say, well, that's a little old. I'm older than that. It ain't going to really affect me. Well, that's going to affect your son and your grandson. When you give them money so they don't have to deal with their children's father, you are literally paying them to advertise to your son and grandsons that they should be kept away from their children too. You're literally paying for that. Why would you pay for that? And I understand we don't think about stuff in those terms, but once you think about it, that's what it turns into. If a woman can afford to keep her children away. Normally she does. That's what being a black woman is all about. See, it doesn't make a difference what you think. It's about what they think. I get it. Some people gonna react, man, it ain't like that. Why are most black women raising children not with the fathers of the children? Don't tell me it ain't like that when most of them who have children are not with the fathers of the children. It is what it is. Doesn't make a difference how we feel about it. I understand we want to make up logical reasons because we believe we can defeat logic. If I can logically understand this, then I can logically come up with a solution for this. That is how men's minds work. And that's okay. I'm not saying don't be yourself. Okay. But you can't be somebody who's not coming from a logical place with logic if they ain't willing to accept it. Okay. Shout out to Mr. Suge Huey. He says, I have another thought, Roger. Why contribute to a woman to enable her to disrespect or supersede the authority of the father of her children? That's a good question, Mr. Suge Huey. And since I ain't got no answer for that, I ain't doing it. And see, this is the thing, y'all. No matter what we do for black women as black men, they don't really acknowledge it. Black women have this mindset that black men don't give them anything. Now, truth be told, we do a whole lot of supplementing for black women. We give girls stuff. Anytime somebody is raising some money for something, we give it to them. This is for the girls of the neighborhood. This is for these girls over here. This is for these girls over here. This is for this program to put girls in this particular place. We give them the money when they ask for it, usually. Okay. Now, when you're grown, you deal with women. They begging all the time. You give them stuff. That's charity at the end of the day. Because if it ain't your wife, it's charity. It just is what it is, y'all. If it ain't your wife, it's charity. And we as men, we're going to give some charity to some women we deal with. But they done trained us to not see it as charity, which I can't say wasn't a dumb idea for them. It was a great way for them to get away with financial murder. Okay, it was a great way for them to do that. So I totally get why they would. That's why women get upset when you start pulling back money from relationships. They get upset. They literally do act like you owe it to them. Well, you know what? Look, can I get $50? I'm short on my phone bill. If you say no, she act like it's a problem. All right. I'm not short on my bill. My phone is on. Okay. I'm good. You ain't gonna help me with $50 for my phone? Look, so I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I ain't got it right now. Now you can have it. That don't even make a difference that you got it. Truth be told, you probably should tell her you do got it. But why give it to her? That's the thing. You do got it, but why give it to her? All right. Now I got a guest up here. We got PK joining us, so I'm gonna let PK grab the mic. What's going on, PK? How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm doing all right, Roger. How you been, man?
Man, fantastic, brother. Fantastic.
I was glad to hear from you, bro. I'm sorry I ain't been around in a while, man. I've been busy, so life be life and all that good stuff.
I know how that go. I know how that go.
Definitely, definitely. But hey, man, I wanted to kind of offer you a difference of perspective on that last statement you just made about why a man would raise his children or do certain things a certain way when it comes to the outcomes of their own grandchildren. I'm going to say something that's going to be kind of fucked up, and it's going to probably be a little bit pessimistic. But all men don't necessarily hold the same values, and because of that, or even similar values, when it comes to the outcomes associated with their children. And many men can be very selfish in the sense that they only care about their own outcomes. And after they achieve their own outcomes, the outcomes of their children are irrelevant to them. Doesn't matter. So when oftentimes happens is with males and females, but ultimately you're discussing boys here in this instance. Why would you do that? I think the answer is because, quite frankly, they already achieved what their goal was when it came to the procreation aspect. The raising, if it is the raising of that child and their outcomes, is only in insofar as money, really, or currency is concerned, generally, when it comes to the outcomes of boys. It isn't in regards to their well-being. It is in regards to their future outcomes in terms of long-term stability. None of that really matters too much to most men. Well, I won't say most men, but a very large amount. So I think that you're being far too charitable when you say, why would you do that? I think most men do that, and they don't, quite frankly, give a fuck. They don't care. Not really. And I don't think the society cares either. Most societies don't. And then when we do with girls is oftentimes we give them expectations for men that we never even produced in the first place. So this is men's and women's fault, but this is the society's fault at large, at scale,
Okay,
in my
well,
opinion.
all right. Well, if something ain't working, you can always change it. So my thing is, regardless of why it's happening, if it's not beneficial, we can change it. And to me, I just don't see it as beneficial for me to give. Now, maybe you're gonna say because I don't have kids, I don't see it beneficial to help women get stuff for their children that their dad could just get if they was with them. I don't see no point in that. And for me, the only thing I really see is it is truly helping her be in rebellion to the man that she had kids with. Now, if she's going to be in rebellion to the man she has children with, she's teaching those children to also be in rebellion to black men. So that doesn't help me in any kind of shape, way, or form. So I don't see why I should do anything that's really not going to benefit me at all.
I don't necessarily disagree with that, Roger, but as I just explained, I think these men are narrow-sighted in their view about it being directly impactful, and they're not thinking about the second or third order consequences behind their actions when they make certain decisions. And ultimately, that's kind of how we ended up where we are today in this discussion. You're not wrong for how you see things in this aspect, but I would think that many men would have an issue with that, especially on the right of the aisle, and hell, even on the left of the aisle in the pro-black sector. You always hear discussions about what about the kids. You got to help the kids, and I mean, quite frankly, I'm pretty much the the owner and founder of the word "fuck them kids." Because quite frankly, the children across this entire society are being weaponized. They just are. They're being weaponized by both men and women for their own ends. And we don't actually care about the best outcomes associated with children, except for insofar as it benefits ourselves. And if that's the case, then ultimately our society is doomed. Over time, it's doomed. Because we're too selfish to think about the future outcomes associated with healthy families and stable outcomes, financially, and them having a stake in society. None of that shit matters to many people. Many people.
All right, now let me say shout out to B Rain Wash. He says you don't want that little ninja to grow up and rob your behind. I ain't doing the cursing, and I am discouraging cursing in general because I want the content to be able to go out to any types of folks. But I'm gonna say B Rain Wash. Okay, this is the thing. If you help a person keep children away from their father and teach them, well, the mama gonna teach him to be in rebellion of the father and men in general. you're literally helping her raise a man that's going to rob you, possibly. So I mean, I think I get what you mean, but I'm saying when you think about the steps, it don't add up. If you give charity to a woman, which allows her to not have her children in the children's father's lives, those children are more than likely, they're going to have a better chance of being rebellious kids. Who's going to rob you? They grow up, 10, 15 years later, who's going to be the guy that rob you? Is it going to be the child who daddy taught them why you got to make these certain moves and raise their child as proper as possible? Or is it going to be the kid who was taught to be rebellious toward black men? Who is more likely to rob me if I get robbed? Well, it's going to be the kid that was taught to be rebellious toward black men. So giving a woman money to help her keep her child away from her father could literally turn into that same child robbing you one day. You see what I'm saying? When you think about
I agree with that.
Step to step.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that ultimately right now, the way that we have it set up is a failure, and it has been this way for quite some time. You can go back to really, this is FDR's handiwork. He did this with a lot of Social Security programs that initially went to white women and then eventually over time came to black women and the rest of society as a whole. But ultimately, the way that this is supposed to be structured and ought to be structured is actually, as you're describing, if she's unattached to a man, she shouldn't actually receive any sort of welfare whatsoever, none. She should be asked out. She should be asked out. Your obligation is to either be with a man for the man that you procreated with to get those children taken care of. That's the bottom and underline. If there is no man around, then quite frankly, then you shouldn't be able to be rebellious to men and be able to survive. You shouldn't be able to do that. Not in any society. I mean, hell, in the societies where there are no social safety nets, guess what happens to the women? They have to band together to survive. That's the only way in which they can survive. And eventually that comes to an end because men eventually get involved unless they're gypsies, right? So, I mean, you got an issue in a lot of first world nations where we're doing this, and it creates a lot of knockdown consequences because of it.
Well, I'm gonna say this: when you live in a society where a woman can just get married to a man, and then that man gonna look out for her the rest of his life, when she chooses to not involve herself in that, then she need to get it for herself. See, I don't think it's smart or wise to wish terrible things on women. But if you don't want to be involved with a man, which you have a right not to be involved with if you happen to live in America, you also have a right to struggle. And I think black men need to really start accepting that black women should have a right to struggle. They do have a right to struggle, and their right to struggle should not impact you in any real way whatsoever. Because when you understand that something is charity, you're not gonna give half your check to something that's charity. So if you're being charitable, okay, I'm gonna make it easy. Let's say you take home $1,000 every 2 weeks. Somebody has a charity they want you to be involved in. It's cool to give them $5. Okay, I'm taking home $1,000. I'm getting 500 a week. I'm gonna give you $5 because my check gonna be 1,000 when I cash it or whatever. Or when it hit the direct deposit, it's gonna be $1,000. I'll give you $5, and this $995. This going into my household. This going into the stuff that I want to do. This going to me kicking it. This going to paying my bills, me having fun, whatever. And you be cool with that. But if you look at it as an obligation, instead of getting $5, people could possibly get $350 out you right now. Now you only got $1,000. Why would you give $350 away?
Well, no, Roger, this isn't even the correct analogy because let me offer you an alternative view, right? Give me an example. I want to ask you a question. Can you give me an example in this world where a man gets something for free in a charitable way without any sort of obligation attached to it?
No, no, I would have to research that. I mean,
So there's
can
very few. I imagine there are some, but they're so
yeah,
few and minuscule that it's probably not impactful. But however, almost in every single realm, there's a social safety net somewhere, somehow, in multiple avenues, whether it's the church, whether it's the state, whether it's other people that are charitable, making charitable donations every day, every moment to some sort of women foundation, organization, or even individual. But in this world right now, women are unattached to any sort of obligation whatsoever, outside of the fact that even the fact that they may have born children, they're completely unattached to the rest of society. And we have an expectation that they work and produce the same way that men do, and they still don't do that. Not to be rude, but that's just the case, right? So it's kind of funny how we're playing this game, in my opinion. And the reason that I don't think your analogy really served the correct purpose is because of the fact that there's no equivalent. I can't, not even in a child's case, because we have an expectation for them to be uh, clothed, sheltered, and taken care of, that they go to school and produce good outcomes, right? And that they don't become problem children. Is that not the case?
I'm saying that when if you as a black man understand that you don't owe them anything, if when you actually can sever yourself from being obligated to them, which is based on nothing but feelings at the end of the day, then you don't even think to give them $3.50. I'll give you $5 because $5 ain't nothing in compared to the $1,000. But when I think it's an obligation, I will give you more, and that's what people do. We give you more because we think we're actually obligated to give them something, and we,
No,
and
no,
we
I don't give them shit because you're not entitled to a goddamn
no,
thing
no.
that you didn't offer anything in return for.
But I'm saying generally, black men will give them more because we are made to feel obligated to these people who are not connected to us. If you, as a woman, have a child and you're not married to a man, I don't see our connection. You can say, well, we black. Well, you part of the dysfunctional anti-family single mother community. That's how I see you. You're not really connected to me. I understand people who are not black will try to lump us in together, but I already know they don't know what they're talking about. And I'm gonna act like they don't know what they're talking about. You're not connected with me. I tell that to women on a regular basis. Are not connected with me in any way, form, shape, form whatsoever. You don't have no husband. How are you connected to me? Why do you even think I should care about your outcome? Yeah, and that's the question that most of them can't really answer. Some of them will struggle to try to come up with an answer. Well, we all black, ain't we? Yeah, but are you trying to help me get anything done? Because if you ain't trying to help me get anything done, what difference does it make that you black? We ain't got no common goals. We not part of the same community. We got no common goals. We both black, but we ain't got no common goals. So why would I care about your outcome? You know, and that's something hard for a lot of women to deal with and accept when I start breaking it down for them. Because I be telling folks, well, I ain't gonna give them no money. I don't tell folks I ain't got it. I just tell them you can't have it. Because I think it's better for them to understand why they cannot have it, not me just telling them I ain't got it. Because to me, there's no lesson in that. But let me read these two cash apps real quick, and then I'm gonna turn it over to Kevin 3905. Shout out to Inspired Truth Broadcast. He hit me with the $5 on the Cash App. He says 304 man. Uh, these hoes ain't loyal. Hey, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. And shout out to Kevin 3905. He says for timeout compassionate tax. Hey, compassionate. Keep doing what you do, brother. That's all. Keep doing what you do. We need to keep these likes up around here. Keep doing what you do. But go ahead, Kevin. Go ahead. How you doing, brother?
How you doing? How you doing, man? I love the conversation. I had a conversation with some of my brothers in the IT realm, man, that are making good money, and I piggyback off of some things that I've learned over here as well, bro. It's real simple. When it comes to these women out here, it's like Roger said. An adult woman is asking you for anything. Hey man, let me talk to your husband so we can get this figured out. Oh, you ain't married? Let me talk to your daddy. Oh, you and your daddy ain't got a good relationship? Well, you just a rebellious woman out here just doing what you want to do. You're a thief of the community, and I don't associate with criminals. That's just it, bro. We got to stop babying these chicks and coming up with excuses for them. Bro, if they out here uncovered, just doing what they want to do and having children, bro, these are thieves of the community stealing resources from people that are working hard for it. They ain't doing what they're supposed to be doing. You shouldn't be helping them. Shoot, you shouldn't even be talking to them. Let them live with the consequences of what it is that what it is that they have done. They are destroying our community day by day, hour by hour. They're raising up these effeminate men and these masculine women, bro. We shouldn't be helping them, and we shouldn't be doing nothing for them, and we should be ostracizing. That's what should be happening. I don't care what the excuse is. I don't care what happened and how it happened. If you are not submitted to a man, you are rebellious in this community, and you're not helping. I don't care what the circumstances are. Even the Bible speaks to that. Saying when you take your tithes and offerings to the place where I have my name, and you buy what you want with the money that you exchange your tithes and offering for, said remember the Levites because they have no inheritance, and remember the widows and the orphans. They don't say nothing about baby mamas. Even God say don't take care of the women that didn't get married. I ain't going against God. I'm gonna do what He say. I'm gonna land with that.
Now, interesting way to put it. Interesting way to put it. Hard to argue with that. Now, and I'm gonna say this: a single woman is a dangerous woman because a single woman gonna look out for self. Because that's what humans do. We are taught to be better people. Remember, every baby is born selfish. Every baby thinks it's about them. Every child has to be taught the whole world does not revolve around you. We come into this world as babies and we think everything about us. And you're not going to just give that up because you want to give it up. Somebody teaches you there's a need for you to give that up. And when people don't learn that lesson, it's okay for them to do for self. See, my thing is we don't have to wish nothing bad on Black women, but we do need to learn how to step back sometime and say, you got it. And like even with certain content people make, some people looking at the economy. Well, y'all know the Black women gonna come back to the table when the economy is bad. If that's what it took for you to come back to the table, why would I want to associate myself with you? If you got to literally struggle to come back to the table, as they say, why would I sit at the table with you?
Well, here's the thinking behind it, and this is the way that they think. If you don't believe me, you can ask them. They'll tell you eventually if you try hard enough, if you ask the right questions. It might have even been admitted here, not on this panel, but in general in the Black manosphere at some point by some woman. But the thing is that they believe in communal responsibility without any sort of communal obligation. That's the problem. That's the linchpin of really most of our issues. Is that they think that ultimately Black men as a collective group owe them and not to take care of them in any of their associated outcomes with their own lives without owing anything in return. They don't want to have to do anything. They want to be able to do whatever the fuck. Excuse me. They want to do whatever it is they want to do without doing anything for you or any man in return, because they see that as quote unquote slavery.
Well, they got the right to do what they want to do, but they also got the right to live with them consequences too. We need to stop trying to save them from the consequences. And as men over here, man, we don't give a darn what they think. Let them think what they want to think.
And I'm gonna say, I mean, this is why I changed the title up to be what it is. Black women never get charity from Black women. From Black men. Because it doesn't make a difference how much charity we give them. That is how they see it. They see it as it's not charity. They see us fulfilling an obligation that we already have toward them, and we coming up short. Now, I can't tell nobody what to do, but I'm gonna tell you about me. When I give you some charity and you act like I owed it to you, and I'm shorting you on what I owed you, that tell me don't give you no more charity. that's what, because I don't like that. I'm a man. I like to get appreciated too. Okay. I don't like giving some woman something and she act like I ain't done enough. And as a young man growing up and really starting to understand the world around you, once you get 18 and you start doing stuff that you ain't never really did before as a child, and you start seeing how people are and how they react to stuff. As a man, I was taught by Black women that I owe them something. And anytime I give them something or do something for them, I'm coming up short. Well, I don't like losing. So I can't really give you nothing, because if I give you something that's too little, you don't appreciate it. And if I help you with something, you act like I owe you and I haven't put enough work in. It's like I'll help you for a day and you want a 40-hour work week. I don't want to live like that. That's just too much for me to care about. So I'm going to step away from all that and I'm going to let you have it. So that's what being around Black women has taught me, is they waste the time to give them things because they cannot see it. They can't see it as charity from a Black man. That's their own vision problem. Because when somebody else gives them something, I see them acting like it's charity. When a white man gives them something, they don't act like they owe. They act like it's a blessing. This great white man done bestowed some privilege upon me, and I appreciate him for it. I'm gonna thank him forever. That's what I see. It's only when Black men seem to give Black women something that they act like it just wasn't charity at all. And my thing is, why help people like that?
Well, we've kind of ingratiated them with that mindset because for the longest time, because of the circumstances of this country, we have never actually pulled our hand back. As the saying goes, when the hand bites you, you got to stop beating it or some shit, something like that. I curse a lot. I'm sorry, man. I'm trying, bro. I'm working on it. But you got to pull your hand back, man. And we've never done that before. This is actually the first time in any sort of major way that we've actually shown any sort of pushback or pullback from the gynocracy, quote unquote. And I think that it's starting to it's really got them kind of shell shaking. But quite frankly, mostly Black men as a group, as a whole, haven't pulled back in the way that they need to just quite yet. We are still the primary funders of Black women's rebellion. It just is the case outside of white, society. So, I mean, for all of our own opinions, which I largely agree with, the thing is that Black men are ultimately partially responsible for that sort of type of mindset. Because if you're going to keep on funding the person who's constantly biting your hand, then I mean, that's your fault at a certain point.
No, I totally understand. And that's why I say sometimes we just need to come up with new strategies. But we got another guest coming up. We got Obama gave my whack a chair. Dude, I don't know why. Go ahead, brother.
Salute to the people on the panel. Salute to the people in the chat. And Michelle Obama and Jada Pinkett Smith is what charity gets you, Black men. Right? Charity gets you a woman who says, I wish you never won. And charity gets you your children writing love letters to a ghost. Will Smith, please do a DNA test, nigga, because I don't know, man. I just don't know. Evidence is saying otherwise right now, my brother. And, and she destroyed your career because you on TikTok and doing performances that nobody's showing up to. So, yeah, I don't know. But that's what the good book says, right? Be careful to not give all your strength to a woman because she destroyed kings. And at the end, and so basically, gentlemen, on this one we have to look at the mirror. Why are we so nice? Why are we so tolerant? Why do we hate ourselves? Because If you tolerate this from a woman, you have low self-esteem. If you tolerate this from a woman, you hate yourself. See, dating Becky, that's not hating yourself. Dating Marisol is not hating yourself. Dating Michelle Obama and tolerating her antics because she said she's gonna F you up if you touch that thermostat when you got Secret Service on your crew. That's self-hate. Because you feel as now I get it for all the brothers that's that were drug dealers and made single baby mamas. So yeah, you go in there and you repent because that's what it's about. It ain't even about the men who are simping bigging up black women. The majority of the men who are defending black women are men who are guilty on their conscience because they were selling drugs in the community, they were getting the women pregnant. So you're not dealing with simps. We got to get that out of there. What you're dealing with is men with guilty conscience. And that's worse than a simp. Because these brothers, you can't tell them nothing because they were the Pookie reform. They were the Pookie trifling edition. They were washing their balls in the sink and taking her car to blow the back out of her coworker. And then when they get 40 and 30 and stuff like that, they see the light. Now everybody's guilty. All niggas are guilty. No, brother, you're guilty. So you pay your repentance. And at the end of the day, we gotta start telling these men that, hey, my conscience is clean. You know what my conscience is clean? Because I don't have children out of wedlock. My conscience is clean because I didn't sell drugs to these people. My conscience is clean because I have self-respect. And I pass them out.
Well, you know what? That's an interesting concept of, well, at least the way you framed it, of paying repentance. I think maybe that's what black men do have it wrong. I think a lot of us are trying to pay some form of repentance, or we're paying, because I do know black men do have this guilty conscience. And we look at what's going on in society, all these different things, and we say, well, black men didn't do this and black men didn't do that. Well, that's not an accurate, you don't have an accurate view of history, because truth be told, black men did a lot of great stuff. We built a lot of our own cities. And nobody ever takes time to ask the question of, where the white woman come from? How did the white woman get into the city that we built for ourselves and claim that some black man took it from her? Where she come from? Now, I don't know where she come from, but when I think about stuff and how black women keep trying to appease white women, I'm thinking maybe some of this stuff has got something to do with the fact that black women keep inviting the white woman there, because she can't claim somebody did something to her if she's not there. It's black towns. Why is the white woman in the black town in the first place? What's that even about? I don't know. But that's kind of in theory. But the thing is, as a man, look, man, number one, you didn't do it.
Come on, Roger. Use your brain, man. I know you got a big brain, bro. Why do you think the white woman was in the black town, bro? Stop playing, bro. Come on now. Why do you think she was in the black town, bro?
I mean, I think a black woman helped.
Why is the white woman? No, why you think the white woman is in the black town, bro? Come on, man, keep it a bean, bro. Why you think she's in the black town, bro?
She there to get us something. I'm not saying she's not there.
She didn't get lost. She know how she got there. She know how she got there. She know why she there too. Come on, man.
She there to cause trouble. That's why she there.
That ain't what she there to. Come on, man. Come on, do better. Come on, man.
Nah, well, see, this is the thing. A lot of us want to accept a narrative that she was there to see a black man, and I'm not saying that may not have been the case, but at the end of the day, if a black woman goes to a town to say some black man took it from her, she's literally there to cause trouble. And at the end of the day, that may have never actually happened. She might just be the black woman's friend.
I need to let y'all in on a little secret that very few people know, and y'all niggas about to get initiated. Whenever you see a white woman in the 1800s photo, right? See, again, black women will say she's up there to get some big buck. No. The first white lesbians was licking black coffee beans. And back in the day, it was easier for a white lesbian to get down with the Hershey shoot with our black queens. And if you look it up, I'm telling you, the majority of LGBT relationships back then were white women and black women. That's why she was there. She was gnawing on that coffee bean, sticking 3 fingers in that taco.
And I'm gonna say that makes sense to me. I understand, they blame stuff on black men, and I'm not gonna say it wasn't the case that some white woman didn't want a black man at some particular time. But at the end of the day, if that woman ain't the woman coming there to say somebody took it from her, because that stops her from getting what she was getting. So when you start thinking about stuff and start bringing in how does human behavior work, if I say that somebody took it from me and they're gonna burn the town down, why would I say that? Because that stops me from getting what I want as a white woman, which makes no sense. Now, it could literally have been some black women making that claim if they call themselves trying to protect their men from the white women. That's possibly the case. Or it's just about them keeping black men in check by using the threat of the white man. Could have been any of that stuff going on too.
That's partially it, but a lot of what took place is shame, as well as getting caught with your hand in the cookie jar, bro. It's really that simple. Because unfortunately, a lot of white people struck their own family histories of their mixed lineages, bro. I don't know if you're aware of that. So what happened is they would sometimes go to these fucking places and do this shit, and they might have got, outed or caught or blackmailed or some bullshit like that. God knows, we weren't there. Any number of things could have taken place that caused them to be like, oh shit, you don't know who I am. I'm about to fuck this whole shit up. And sometimes that's what took place, bro.
No, I'm telling you, that is not. If you research history and stuff like that, a lot of LGBTQ relationships were being had back then with black slaves and during Jim Crow and during Reconstruction. Because at that time, it was easier for white women to have those types of relationships with black women, right? That whole BBC Go Black, that's all tropes. That's all tropes. Those are misdirections from letting you know the truth. The truth of the matter is, a lot of times when you see white women in those black communities, she's trying to eat and get eaten.
So yeah, it's not a trope as in like it didn't take place. I hope that's not what you're saying, because both are true. I'm not actually discounting what you're saying as if that weren't true.
I'm saying it was overwhelmingly she was trying to get tasted by another female.
Well, no, I don't know about that. That's not the case. That isn't true. That's propaganda. I don't know where you read that. So, for instance, let me give you an example. Back in the 1800s and 1900s, late 18 and 1900s, what you had taking place also was white-only prostitution brothels, okay? And they were made by black women at that time. And they held the mistress or the main woman, the madam, whatever you would call her, I can't remember the name, mine right now, would oftentimes be a black woman, and she would also have white prostitutes that would service the men. I don't know if you're aware of that. So it wasn't exclusive to just, women licking beans, bro. It was a whole lot more raunchier than what you're thinking.
I mean, the thing is, that ain't why people was burning down towns talking about some black men took
Right,
it from them.
right, right, right,
So
right,
that,
right,
yo,
right.
that
So
stuff could have
right now
happened,
we're
but
talking two different things. We're talking two different things. I'm talking about relationships. We were talking about prostitution. What I'm talking about is the secret relationships between black and white women.
and my thing is, black women then always tried to hang with white women to get it. Don't make sense, but they've always been trying to get closer to white society. So they do rock with white women. They've been doing that for a long time. At the end of the day, but what I'm
Well, I
saying
was
is,
using that as an illusion. I wasn't doing it to make a divide on two different topics. It's an illusion basically to draw a parallel in between these intersecting variables, which is sex. Okay. These people been having sex with black folks for a
what
long time. It's
what
nothing new. It's what I'm getting at.
but that's still
But
okay.
to claim
Is
that
there
it's
a
overwhelmingly white women, that just isn't the case. It's pretty
not,
prevalent
my
throughout
thing
history.
is my thing is it don't matter. The issue was about the towns being burned down. That's what the issue was. And my thing is where did those white women come from? I'm pretty sure it's a lot easier to quote unquote smuggle a white woman in town by a black woman, or just to walk in town with a black woman, than it was to be with a black guy. I'm pretty sure that was far easier for them to do. Because
Right. This whole white fetish, this white fetish that black men have, this insatiable white fetish, or this whole insatiable I'm curious. I mean, that is all Hollywood, man. That is all Hollywood.
yeah,
Not saying it never happened. Not saying it never happened, but at the end of the day, anyway, we can get back to the subject. At the end of the day, charity gets you where we're at.
and my thing is, because black women can't see charity from a black man, there's really no point in giving any. Because again, that's why I titled it the way I titled. Black women never get charity from black men. Because if you ask black women, do they ever get charity from black men? They're not gonna tell you yes. They say black men ain't gave us nothing. They will
Yep.
tell you based on what black men have said, because they just repeat a lot of stuff black men say, because black men come up with excuses, you know what I'm saying, trying to come from this logical place that they can overcome. So they'll just say what some black man said, for their own benefit. Yeah, black men ain't never gave us nothing, which sounds crazy in itself. You came in, we were slaves, then we went into Jim Crow, and somehow we had this idea of black men ain't never gave them nothing. Who else gave it to you then? We were segregated as a country. Who gave it to you if you got it? Of course it was black men. Now the thing is, that didn't matter. So now you had white people start coming up with some programs where we're gonna get these black broads something. Well, that means something to them because it came from a white person. When you think about it, if a black woman will choose to be on the system rather than be with her man, that means there is some way she values what she can get from white people versus what she can get from a black man. The value is not the same to her. And that's something we need to start seeing for ourselves. The value just ain't the same to her. Because when we give it to them, it's not accepted as charity. When they give it to them, they say that's the white man being nice to them. That's what programs are to them. That is the white man being nice. When you give us something, it don't make no difference because you're not white. And how many black women have said something along the lines of, we wouldn't have been able to survive without that white man? Don't make no difference what you did for him. How many men done work 2 jobs and the only thing she gonna do is say he too busy, I'm out go have sex with somebody else, because she can't see no value in what he's doing. You just being too busy to spend time with me. That's not a person who looks at what you're doing as a good thing. But we don't get that. I want you to make all this money, not so we can do things together, so I can spend it on my own. That's not a person who likes you. And that's something black women want on a regular basis. Go make a bunch of money so I can spend it on my own. Or I can go spend it with my friends. I don't even need you to be there. That's not how a woman acts that likes you. When you do stuff for somebody else's kid. Black women ask men to do stuff for all kinds of people. Well, can you do this for these kids? Can you do this for my sister? Can you do this for my mom? Do she give you any credit if you do it? How many black women that ask a black man to do something for somebody they related to? And what happens? You don't see no spirit of thankfulness around this type of stuff. I remember I did that story about the black woman who claimed she gave what was around if my memory is correct, it might have been like the couple had I want to say 75,000, but I'm gonna say 7,500 to be sure, because I remember she called into a radio station, and a good chunk was given to her quote unquote brother. So it could have been like 40,000 bands, but I'm gonna say 4,000 just to I'm taking a zero off just for my memory's sake. She was tripping because her husband was acting like it's a problem to give her brother money without his say so. And she was acting like, nah, that was cool, if I'm remembering the story correct. So the thing is, no matter what you give them, they don't take it as, you're being nice to them or you're doing something for them. It's all mine anyway. Everything you go earn as a man belong to her in her mind. Now, how do you impress a woman with her own stuff? That's impossible. And to me, that tells me exactly why we got this. We have these rifts when it comes to relationships where a black man is involved with a black woman. She can't see you was doing nothing because everything you did, she think you owe it to her. Hence, Will Smith being worth $350 million, but cannot give Jada enough. Jada don't see that as Will earning money. Jada see that as her money. Barack becoming president. I remember, if my memory is correct, I think the book deal he got was like a $60 million deal. But if she see that as her money, what difference does it make that he got that deal? How can you help a woman with her own stuff? Because whatever you get, she sees hers. The way they ask us to help the children of the community and all that type of stuff. What is she literally asking for? Well, I had sex with some men. I had some kids. I don't rock with these men no more. So therefore, you men that I ain't do nothing with, y'all need to do stuff so my kids will be straight. If that ain't entitlement, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I think you're right. And this brings up the symptom that I mentioned earlier. This is a symptom of a deeper issue, in my opinion. And the only way to rectify it is to separate, the way in which they're able to access social safety nets, in my opinion. I think that's kind of like where we're at as a society, especially when it comes to black women specifically. I think you kind of have to create that divorce now where if they're not tied to any particular man and they have children, they have to be cut off. And it's unfortunate for the children in that circumstance. It's really terrible that we have to do this. But if we don't, unfortunately, it breeds this sort of entitlement where women believe that they're owed everything. And I mean, we already combine finances when we start to talk about institutions like marriage. So it's a continuation of breeding certain entitlements within, like, a certain mindset or psychology of entitlement within the women of your society. And it creates a problem with the women, in my opinion.
I put in the chat a couple books that talks about this. Some of it's during the Jim Crow era, some of it's a little bit later. But you have to kind of understand that whole that when you read those books and stuff like that, it really dismantles the myth about the BBC and black men's insatiable need for white women. A lot of times when you see white women in these communities, she's there for the being, not the people. So with that being said, when we're going back to black male charity, one thing we have to really kind of pull out is the guiltiness, right? the majority of black men feel guilty, either by their mothers making them feel guilty because their dad wasn't there, so they want to make up for it, not knowing that, hey, the mom chose the dad that she knew wasn't going to be there, or they're reformed Pookie and Ray Ray.
I mean, truth be told, my thing is black men just gotta accept if your daddy wasn't there, that's what your mama wanted. Your mama did whatever it took to keep him away. Whether she got him locked up, whether she moved out of state from him, whatever the case is, black women go through all type of stuff to make sure that she don't have to answer to a man. You know, because it's plenty of women that done really left the state or they left the city, but they'll go a couple of hours away, so it's very inconvenient for you to even visit your children. You know,
right?
You know, I live in Chicago. Now let's say woman moves to a city called Rockford. That Rockford ain't around the corner, man. You know, you gotta make a decision to go to Rockford. It's not something you just do after work. Okay, you gotta make a decision to go to Rockford because you gotta drive out there and then you gotta spend time and figure out what you're gonna do while you out there. Or are you gonna bring the kids back home? You gonna drive to Rockford, then bring the kids back to Chicago? Then spend time with the kids, then driving back to Rockford. You know, they do a lot of stuff deliberately.
But we got to look at it from the child's point of view, right? Like, so yeah, it's far, but at the end of the day, we have to look at it from the child's point of view, right? Because that's how they develop either that guiltiness if they're a boy, or that vinegar and bitterness if they're female. Right, that's the foundation.
Well, that's why I believe parents got to just start telling their kids the truth about what their mama's doing. We've been taught that kids don't need to know, it's not their business, and all that type of stuff. And if we accept that, we will accept the nonsense and never prepare our children for who their mamas are. You know, and then the cycle will start to repeat itself.
Go ahead. Roger, getting a woman to tell the truth is like asking a vampire to stand in the sun. That shit ain't happening.
Well, no, I'm not saying you get the women to tell the truth. I'm saying we as men need to start telling the truth. We've been told you don't embarrass your mama. You don't talk bad about the other parent in front of the kids. We've been told it ain't none of the children's business. They done gave us a multitude of reasons to not to tell the children what's actually going on. And I'm saying we as men, we should just be telling them. Yeah. Look, you know what I'm saying? Your mama is pretending she told me. Your mama never told me that you was in a play. If your mama would have told me, I would have seen if I could get our work to come. Your mama never told me you was in one. She may have told you that, but your mama never told you. Your mama told you I was coming Tuesday. I never tell your mama I was coming Tuesday. Every time I see you, it's on the weekend, ain't it? So why would you got to think about it? Why would I all of a sudden pick a Tuesday?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
Before I pass the mic? I apologize. I was reading the chat, so I apologize ahead of time. Sarah B, I know why you're in the hood. I'm not saying you're a lesbian or anything like that. You out there stripping, so I get that. But I'm talking about Reconstruction when we couldn't really get white strippers like that. So, because I know you with the stripping crew with the glitter and all. So I know why you're in the hood.
Yeah, I don't know why. I understand that there is I'm willing to acknowledge and agree with you insofar as that it is a form of propaganda that, there's an over glorification of this quote unquote BBC myth. I do understand that. However, to essentially deny the fact that it took place is just a denial of history.
No, I'm not denying it. I'm not. What I'm saying is that, yes, I'm agreeing with you, but back then, right, if you saw just like white people out and about with black people, not in the saloon setting as you're saying, because if we're talking about saloon setting, then I 100% agree with you. You're absolutely right. But I'm talking about the white woman that's chilling on the porch out of just randomly there, right? That's what I'm talking about. That woman, she's tasting coffee beans.
I got you.
All right,
sure.
I got True Teller and Mr. Z done come up. Mr. Z said his time is short, so I'm gonna go ahead and let him get his opening statement first. Go ahead, brother.
And thank you for having me up, Raj. Morning to everyone. It's noon officially in the East right now. Well, the East Coast, not the East. And thank you, Truth Teller, for letting me jump in front of you. So Raj, you spoke to something earlier about if the environment is causing you to, I guess, essentially value me. If you come in here out of desperation and starvation, then should I take you seriously? Anyway, I'm paraphrasing what you said. Yeah, but it's gonna get cold, Raj. And I'm not saying it's up to us to save them or any of that. There was a time when money was looser and more fluid, and it gave women, particularly black women, this false sense of autonomy and freedom. And it is gonna be charity that brings them through now. That money is gonna get tighter. Those frivolous degrees are gonna mean nothing more and more, and you're going to see them, as you were saying earlier, beg, but it's not going to be the arrogant begging that we're used to. It's going to be some aggressive begging, right? But it's not going to be the arrogant and the sassy and the obligation begging. As a matter of fact, I suspect they're going to lean on men, on other black men. They're going to lean on quote unquote Christianity and concepts of religion to have other men obligation beg in their behalf, or on their behalf, better yet. It's about to get real cold, everyone. If you look at everything that's going on globally, particularly domestically, it's going to get real cold. Cold for all of us, actually, but definitely for the women, because there was you had a good stretch of time, 50, 60 years, where the money was loose, especially over the past 40 years. Somebody's background. Right, I don't know whose background. I'm hearing everything right now. It might be you,
Mute me
Kevin.
up, Roger. Mute me up,
Kevin is
Roger.
your,
I'm
yeah,
working.
yeah. But yeah, um, but yeah. So it's gonna change the relationship between black men and black women if there's a relationship to have, right? So I don't have much to contribute. I just wanted to come in with that. It's about to get dark. You're going to see black women feign to be on your program. There's going to be a 360 that I think a lot of us are going to be surprised about. But as Roger was saying, it's going to be because of that starvation. It's going to be because of that desperation, right? The environment is changing, and it's changing quick, and nobody knows exactly where this is going to land. You've had presidential candidates speak about UBI, right, a few years ago, and that speaks to an environment that's going to change. I don't want to paint it as completely dark, but it's going to get dark, right? And that's definitely going to change the way many, not all, black women speak. I do think there's some of them that their ego is so real they're going to be under the bridge, right? And they would have accumulated so much life, they would have bit off so much life that nobody want to do nothing with them. There's going to be others, on the other hand. Some of y'all going to be tenderhearted. You're going to be handing out money. I'm just saying, be careful. And I'll pause right down. Thanks for having me up, Rush.
All right, appreciate that. Appreciate that. Truth Teller, you got it, my brother.
Appreciate you, fellas. Z, shout out to you. I'm gonna be down your way. I'm gonna be in that Ventura in a couple weeks, baby. So I gotta holler at you while I'm down south.
All right, let me know, because that's right around that. Well, not right around, but that's not too far from Mama Z's house. Well, from
All
Perry's
right,
house.
cool.
Yep.
No, all right. So I'm gonna go in a slightly different direction. I think. Well, honestly, I already know what's gonna happen. They hard headed, and it's gonna have to get real, real bad before they correct themselves. So I don't even think we should pay attention to that correction because it's gonna have to be real, real bad. But I think the foundation of our issue is we don't understand what the word charity means. I don't know about y'all, but anytime I ever did a woman a favor to assist her, I kind of expected something back. Whether it was something specifically for me, like I was doing her a favor and I thought it'd get me somewhere, or I was doing her a favor because she was black, or I was doing her a favor because she's a single mother and I thought she needed some help. When you give charity, charity is actually assisting without getting anything in return. No ROI. You just doing it because you're a good person and there's no expectations of anything. Normally with women, we're actually paying them for what we think they normally do, which they don't do, right? Because we've all been raised, you got to take care of a woman. A woman is important because she has kids. She's important to the culture. She's important to the society, blah, 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 blah. So it's always easy for us to help a woman out because we think she's paying into the group as it is. And she never is. She's just taking. I think our understanding of charity needs to be updated because ain't you paying for something she not doing. You getting robbed. That's not charity. That's called robbery. Because you think you paying for something, but you ain't getting that from out of this particular woman. But she'll look at you and say, hey, you're supposed to be doing this. And technically she's right because you've been doing it. And according to their guys, their agenda, you're supposed to do it for this reason, even though they have not been doing any of the social contract stuff that women are supposed to be doing at all. Hell, they violated the agreement when our kids started coming out messed up. That's a minimum violation. I don't care what your life look like. Your kids ain't supposed to be like this. But that's what it is. I think we just need to understand, hey, if you go pay him, you better make sure you getting something or you getting robbed, nigga. It's that simple. I think we'll be better.
Let me say this because I'm about to drop real quick. Single and childless Black women have the least amount of wealth in America. Everybody hear me say that on my channel at least once a stream. At least once. More than once. So they have been surviving off of the largesse charity, the largesse of Black and non-Black folks. They've been surviving off of the charity of Black men. As Raj was saying earlier, how else did the Black community get this far? The difference now is the environment's going to make them realize that, especially if the way I see it, young millennial Black men and Gen Z Black men no longer put that hand out offering that charity. No, the environment going to make them realize, oh, you were surviving off of the charity, the largesse of everyone for decades. And that's going to be a hard lesson. So, yeah, I hear what you're saying, Truth Teller, but what I predict the environment's about to look like, oh, they're about to really realize everything you've had was off of the largesse, whether it was through tax money, whether it was through Pell Grants, whether it was through first-time home buyer, whether it was through free or reduced lunch, whether it was through discount on that bus pass or that train pass. All of that was the largesse. And as this government decides to strip all of that, which is doing right now in front of everybody's face, as they save $1 here, save $1 there, so much of our lives in general as Americans, let alone Black folks, let alone Black women, so much of it is based off of $1 here saved, $1 there saved. When they start taking away that $1 here saved and that $1 there saved, and that's $3,000 more of your life, or $4,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 of your life, people gonna start feeling that. Women are gonna start feeling that. Black women are gonna start feeling that. And I'll pause right there. And thanks for having me up, Rush.
Yeah, but I want to say something really quickly. Like, women will have challenges, but they're never going to face women because at the end of the day, Black men have a guilty conscience, and they're going to pull them out, right? And other people, I mean, if the price is right, I'll pull some out, right? I'm not gonna turn off cheap blowjobs, shit. So at the end of the day, that will be all right. I mean, I don't know, like that's one thing I never got about Kevin Samuels with this winter coming. At the end of the day, it's men don't have that heart of nature where they can see women and children suffering like that. That's not us.
But Emperor, please get in for your opening statement, my brother.
Speaking of hoes, and I shall appear.
Here you go.
I got to register your classes, player. I really do. My senses are weak.
I woke up this morning and I smelled some disturbance in my whole sense. My whole sense started tingling. I'm like, I smell hoes. But anyway, charity for black women. I don't recall them not leaving off of charity. When? When that ever happened? Every day when I get on the internet, I get on social media, it's them begging. Cash App in bios, Zelle numbers in bios, and it's always some financial type of things. They have that meme where they say, "Oh, if a guy asks them for a photo that's not on Instagram, oh, send me money that's not on your bank account." It's always them begging for something. And you know why they always begging? Because it works. It works. Somebody, some dummy, some SIMP is going to just give them something out of the kindness of their heart. They count on it. They live off of charity only. They live off of so much charity that they are not even qualified to work. They suck at their jobs. They can't even work properly. They are at work, and some men have to help them to do their jobs. How is that not them living off of charity? So we still don't do enough? What else do they want from us? I mean, listen to me. I'm a Kryptonian. I'm getting sick and tired of being lectured by a bunch of Lois Lane. I can fly. Lois Lane, do better. You can't fly. Learn to fly. Don't tell me to be better. I'm already better. I'm flying, and you're out here walking. What are you talking about? Oh, you want my charity? Oh, you want me to pick you up and lift you up in the air? I can't do that. I just can't. I can't do that anymore. Okay, I'm a Kryptonian. I want Kryptonian women who can fly just like me. Okay, I want better women with good credit score. I want women when I say I got money and they say I got money too. I don't want no broke women who's always struggling. I don't want no woman who's gonna call me up to say I need a ride to work. Hey, ho, where's your car? I don't. I want a woman that I can say, you know what? I know you got 3 cars, so let me ride this one for this week. How about that?
Mhm. Mhm. That is the
I'm,
truth, bro. That's truth.
I don't have the heart to see my woman struggle. I don't have the heart for that. That's why I don't pick struggle women. I just don't deal
Amen.
with them. Even for
Amen.
the penis. Even for the penis. I'm
Amen.
like, nah, I'm not even gonna give you penis. Okay? Get your ish together and then we'll talk about penis later, all right? Because I'm not gonna be busting you down and you are yawning in my face because you're hungry.
Mhm.
It don't work like that with me. Feed yourself first, all right? I, if you don't feed yourself, I have to feed you. What do I look like?
Mhm.
It's like as a man, you're always picking up the bums. Always dealing with bums. Stop doing this shit.
Mhm.
Stop doing it. Y'all are Kryptonians, deal with Kryptonian women. Leave Lois Lane alone. And
Mhm.
again, I'm tired of being lectured by Lois Lane. I'm Superman. God damn it. I can fly. Lois Lane is walking. Lois Lane, I can't do that for you anymore. I'm sorry. I tried, y'all. I tried with these bums. I tried with these dusties.
He called them bums.
And I want to say something really quickly on that. I'm sorry if you're done. If you're not done,
Yeah,
I'll
go ahead, fam. I've touched them
No, and I
enough.
and I just want to highlight something, bro, because again, this is brochure talking points, and we gotta. I mean, man, one day we need to have a MythBusters list, right? Like 300 things that get niggas trapped up in their ego and end up desolate over a relationship. That should be so we should have a MythBusters day. Number one. Normally, if you are dealing with a struggle person, the odds are you're going to end up struggling just like them, right? Outside of movies, niggas who struggle normally pull people down, right? Gravity is strong. So when you're dealing with people who are struggling, 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up being pulled down with them. You just don't do it. Like, who is it? Donald Trump's Donald Trump's son is not going to marry a brokey, and he inherits a fortune. So why millionaire men that come from millionaire families don't date these average women? Because they know that if you date a struggle person, regardless of how big my fortune is, it pulls me down. That's why the nigga from the Rothschilds baking married Paris Hilton's sister, right? Paris Hilton's of the Hilton family of the hotels. Everybody's a billionaire. Why is that? We
Let me
gotta
let
start.
me
We gotta start.
let me slide one thing. One
Okay, go ahead.
sentence. Niggas needs to start pulling themselves out of this black hole of poverty designed by these women. Pull yourself out of it. Don't let it
Right,
don't let this dying black star pull you in. Escape the
right.
black hole.
Because we gotta stop. We gotta stop listening to these things that's keeping us broke, destitute, right? Talking about men dating down and women date up. Well, when we look at the men who are really up like that, they are not dating down. And I'll pass the mic on that. We gotta stop listening to shit that's gonna break our backs.
All right, I guess I'll get in here then.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you brought that. Did I give you an opening statement?
No, I didn't get my open statement yet.
My apologies. My apologies. Well, you got it, and then let's get turn around in after you. My apologies.
All right. So first off, I guess I'm coming in loud and clear. I want to say peace to the chat. Peace to you, Raj, for opening this up, this good space for us to give these discussions. So here's my take on it, and hopefully I can actually land this plane. The reason how we actually got here, why do we do stuff for women? We do stuff for women because it's a cultural or societal norm. Why is it a cultural or societal norm? It's a cultural or societal norm because of the social contract. What is the social contract? The social contract is a system, and as all systems, it is subject to entropy. What we've seen is a decay of the system. And since we're a marginalized minority in America, it's hyper deceleration on our end. We see the disintegration pretty damn fast. But what's going to have to occur is we're going to have to come up with a whole nother contract. And it's going to be interesting times to try to see what that thing actually looks like.
I think we already see it. I think we already see it though.
We coming
and
up
this
with
is
the
what
contract right
well,
now.
no, we not. There's no reason to come up with a contract. When you have a contract with a business partner and you're more valuable in the partnership and they violate, what you need to come up with a new contract for. What,
No. They're not partners, bro. They're workers.
hear me what
See,
I'm
we got to put
saying.
them in proper perspective.
You missing the whole point. That's
Hmm.
what happens when you pay penalties on contracts you violate.
I think it's still a contract. It's just that the framework of the contract is different because now you have
No,
more value.
no, you missing the point. You had a contract. You didn't violate it. Your business partner did. What does that mean when you're in a business partnership and you have a contract? When you violate a contract, what's supposed to happen to you?
Well,
You
it's a
don't
breach of
you
it's
don't
a breach.
when you don't renegotiate a contract that your business partner violated. Why would you renegotiate a contract with somebody who couldn't even fulfill the first contract?
So
And
if you're,
truth teller. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
you want me to
Go ahead,
respond? Okay.
Tatiana.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
No, I was going to say, yeah, the contracts here are broken. I went overseas and I negotiated the contract, and she's living by the contract. She's doing
That's a
what she's
solution.
supposed to do. She's cooking and cleaning, and she acts like my that little Nissan I got her is like a baby Benz. Watching it,
But that's not a
I mean,
renegotiation. That's
yeah,
a new contract.
but I need a new contract because I had an old contract, and they just kept wanting more and more out of the contract.
Right.
Wanted
I said, let's do this. And they said, no, I want more. I want more and I want more. And I said, that ain't the contract. And so I had to go somewhere else and get another contract because I had to get somebody who's going to who's a woman of their word, who's going to follow what
Right.
they said they're going
You
to do.
just got a new business partner, is all. You got a new contract with a new business partner. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But
So
what I'm saying is, and again, this is actually a lot to do with our training in society as black men. We all know what we've been told growing up and how you're supposed to treat women no matter how they act, and they could act this way. You not supposed to do this no matter what. We get it. We've all been received that training. All I'm saying is, if your mindset understands that everything that you do for them is not actually charity, you're paying into the contract. Now, if they're taking it, but they're not fulfilling their end of the contract, they're stealing from you. That's called robbery. Now, if more men take that into account and saying, hold on a second. I'm supposed to jump in front of cars and bullets and protect you and provide and take care of your kids, take care of my kids, take care of their kids, and make sure the whole community's protected. And I got to go out and protest, and I got to go out and vote for abortions. I got to do all of this stuff. And what do y'all got to do? Oh, I'm a woman. What? Wait, what? What did you just say? I'm a woman. That's what you're doing it for. Oh, okay. That means you don't have a contract anymore. We just haven't realized it yet. It's all. We're getting robbed.
hey,
That's what I said about half an hour ago. I said they're criminals.
I got my partner's overproducing. She's buying me $700 watches. She's trying to buy me a $2,000 ring. I mean, she's overproducing. I got a good partner.
No doubt. Excellent contract. Your return on investment is 200%. So hey, good job.
And she's staying in the gym. She's staying in the gym too. She don't want to get. You got to keep that waist tight.
All I'm gonna say is God bless you. That's what I'm gonna say. You know, I ain't gonna say she overproducing. She's just paying out well, which is great for you. So, God bless her at the end of the day. You know, and I think that we as men, we're just taught not to have expectations, which just don't help us. And to have an expectation that you can do well without her messes with our head, because that's what black women really do promote as well. If you're doing well and you're not with them, something is wrong. That's why that's why they will attack a person like Kobe Bryant who never did anything to him. Well, he was with that woman and she Hispanic. So therefore, you're not leaving nothing to the black community. You ain't married him. Why would he leave something to you and you're not married to him? And then my thing is, when you attack him in certain ways, saying, well, he ain't doing nothing, ain't his kids black? Is that not how it run in America? That, when you black, you black. Ain't his kids black? Can't they marry some black men? And some of that wealth be transferred down? But see, that's not even a good picture to them because he got all girls. So if they marry some black man, that's a problem for them because a black man got it. Which means what? They didn't get it because they see themselves separate from us.
At
So
the end
how are
of
they
the
gonna be
day,
happy that his daughters who rich got married to some black men, and whether they rich or not? They don't see a celebration in that.
man needs to just stop dating hypergamously. Women are dating hypergamously. Men needs to stop dating hypergamously. Stop dealing with these lessers. That's it. If you got that bread, you're that guy, and she's struggling, she's not your equal. Leave her where she at. Okay? Let her figure out her problem. Since we don't do charity enough for them, let's stop doing charity for them and let them put on their big girl pants and show us how black girl magic works.
Interesting side note, Kobe's daughter, Natalia, she's 5'10". She's a model now, or trying to be a model. She's like she's working it too.
Well, she is his daughter. She gonna do what she put her mind to. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just say I can't co-sign the whole "don't mess with them." move. Yeah, that's nonsensical to me. I'm an advocate. I'm an advocate of understanding what you're dealing with. I'm not gonna sit here and tell dudes, yo, don't smash if you can smash. You'll never hear me say that. If all I can say is know who you smashing. That's all I can say. I'm not gonna tell a man that he shouldn't just exclude a whole group of women, whether they black or not, or anything. I'm not gonna. I can't say that because that's just not natural. And honestly, it's not reality. That's fantasy.
I think that's why there's
Well,
different
well, no,
contracts. Like
it
once you
needs to
figure out
be.
that that's not a CEO,
But
that's a
see,
contractor.
that's the thing, man. Yeah, we got to stop running the gutters, man. We got to stop running the sewers, right? You got to stop doing that. And number two, I'm really not happy with her being a model. That's some whole shit.
Her daddy ain't around
She,
no more. She gonna be
he,
a model.
yeah, I see. That's the problem, bro. See, that's the problem. Like, you come from basketball fucking royalty. You're the daughter of the greatest basketball player I've ever lived, and you out here showing your tatas. Ho, you need to be. You need to be.
Not that type of
Where's my
model.
Where's my Muslim buddies at?
No,
God
she
damn.
she not an Instagram model or nothing.
Well,
No,
it
but
doesn't matter.
Runway,
still, man,
runway, brother, runway.
no, but you still should be. You should be. You should. I mean, like, come on, man. No, you're
Not
better than that.
I get what you're saying, but she is a young girl, or maybe she's a woman now. I don't know if she's 18 yet, but girls like that type of stuff. So she's gonna
I
do it,
know.
and ain't no daddy there to tell her not to.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
proof. It's proof that whenever a woman comes up from under a covering of a man and starts being independent, that they start destroying themselves immediately.
man,
Immediately.
niggas just can't win.
It doesn't matter what race, nationality, color, or creed. That's why we should be careful about the women we choose to marry and procreate with. You shouldn't even marry a woman that doesn't have a relationship with her father and was not raised by her father.
Because
You shouldn't procreate with one. Huh?
the point is, man, it's really hard being a black man. Like coming on these panels, man. I just want to get drunk after sometimes because damn, it is hard. I mean, you achieve some of the greatest things known to man. In some way, somehow, life still finds a way to just bend you
What,
over.
what,
Kobe Bryant in the grave watching his daughter, because you know what happened on those models, right? She's gonna be Mita Harvey Weinstein, and then you got nuts in your mouth. That's your girl, man. It's wrong, man. It's just all right, y'all. I gotta go, man. Y'all take it easy. I gotta go.
Have a drink for me, bro. I just think collectively as men, we just have to put our foot down. We have to stop. We have to stop rewarding hoes from being hoes. We got to start ostracizing them. Those of us that are productive black men can turn this thing around. But we just have to do. We have to do the right thing. We have to say what we mean and mean what we say. Like, just you don't have to be nasty to them. You know, I've got female friends that got kids and they're no longer married to their husbands or whatever. When they come to me, hey, I need some help with buying my kids some school clothes. Call their daddy. That's all I tell them. Call their daddy. It don't even stop us from being friends. Call their daddy. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if we really start paying attention to how we live our lives and seeing what's good for us, but you have to have the attitude that we don't actually owe them. That's where our main problem is. We grow up and we have it. You know, we have the propaganda gives us the mindset that we actually do owe these women. And my thing is, how do I owe her if she's grown and she's not married? She's not attached to anything when it comes to me. Yes, I'm attached to other men. You're not attached to any of them. You wanted to go out there in this American society, work and earn your keep. I don't have no problem with that. You know, if it don't work out for you, I'm okay with that too. If you got to work 2 and 3 jobs, I'm good with that. Because if there's been no support for black owned businesses when it comes to men, I'm not even talking about women. You know, I'm not saying a woman can't own a business, but women don't take care of society. If the black society is not taken care of because people don't want to go to black men's businesses, I mean, I'm not tripping on how society came out. Because when it comes down to it, when it becomes everybody for themselves, I can live with that. I'm just say it like that. If it come down to everybody got to go for self, I'll be all right. I think I'll make it. That's real talk. You know, I might not do as well as somebody else, but I think I'll be all right for myself.
This is a hypothetical quandary. Do you think that maybe familiarity is part of what breeds some of the entitlement? Like if we made ourselves a little bit more scarce or a little bit more rare, that then maybe that we would see something different? Or is it just more of like just the simps?
No, my thing is people throw way too much on simps. We as black men, we love black women. So we do things because we love them. What I'm saying is we need to think about what we're doing and start making some different choice and think about the long play, not just the short play. Because, giving money to the kids or these programs is supposed to help children. Short term, you're thinking that's a good thing. Long term, I understand I'm funding women's ability to rebel against the men they had a child with. So I got to think of stuff from a long term perspective. I understand why I did what I did when I used to do it. But once I thought about it from a long term, there was no reason for me to do it anymore. So my thing is be the example and tell other brothers what you're doing. So they can be like, well, you know what? I never thought about it, but that does make sense. A lot of people would change what they're doing just because it makes sense. You
Yeah,
know?
that's good. Yeah, that's good long-term thinking. Also, is kind of not giving the executive contract out to the maintenance crew. Like if that's the thing that the person qualifies for, then that's what the contract that they get.
What thing is we got to accept that they have choices to make, and if they choose certain choices, it's okay to leave them stuck in their choice. If you need help with your children, that was a choice you made, and it's okay for you to be stuck in your choice. It's okay for black men to do well and black women to struggle. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? From an overall standpoint, black men don't like the ideal of doing well while black women are struggling, and I think we need to get comfortable with that idea.
That's true. That's very
You know.
true.
Why is it my concern that she's struggling? She grown. She's not my kid. You know, you ain't gonna let your own child struggle. I understand that. But when she's not your kid, why you care? And my thing is people will say, well, it's good to give charity. And I'm never gonna say that it's not, because I know God wants to give charity. I'm just saying let's figure out ways to give charity in a more effective manner. Don't give it to somebody where it's just gonna be like throwing money in the trash. Because what was the point of that?
Yeah, even charity has to have requirements. There has to be, like, you're not looking to get anything back when you're giving charity. That's true, but it needs to have requirements. Just like you said, you don't throw your pearls to the swine. You just don't, and you should not be funding these unruly, rebellious women that's just out here doing what they want to do. If they say that they're strong, independent, don't need no man, let them prove it to you.
And when they come
That's
out here
all.
being selfish, being extremely selfish, you just giving stuff that people who say they don't want it. They'll take it, but they're actually telling you, I am all about me. And so you can give me something, but it's not about, I'm not giving you nothing. I'll just take. They're extremely selfish, 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 selfish. All about them, not even about the kids.
Well, I'm gonna say this. If they tell you they're a strong, independent black woman, I'm gonna say let's just choose the believer. Because if you're
There you
truly
go.
strong and truly independent, what you need my help for? Now I'm gonna believe you. Now I may see that you in a tow up car. I may see that you on the bus stop. But you told me you strong and independent and don't need no man. I'm just gonna choose to believe you regardless of what I see. I ain't got nothing for you. And I really do believe black men got to get to the point where we honestly believe it's okay not to give them anything. Give to a charity that matters. You got a nephew that needs some help with something. Give it to him. There's a program specifically designed to help a black boy out there somewhere. Find that program and give it to them. shout out to Carmelo Anthony. You know, he in a situation. Give something to him. Give it to his family. Why? Because his family has a father. So, you know, we should look out for other black men with families. If I got to look out for somebody, why don't I look out for a black man with a family versus some woman who refused to be in one?
Exactly. And that goes right back to the point you made weeks ago. When these women come calling, hey, where's your husband? I'm gonna help your husband because I know he'll help me. Where's your
Yeah.
father?
Yeah.
Where's
Well,
the
yeah.
man that you're submitted to? If you're not submitted to a man, you rebellious. I ain't helping no rebellious women.
Well, yeah, here's the thing. Like, I mean, when you do that, you're doing something real because, like, for the most part, most of us guys live in real world and the women kind of live in Nerf world, everything nerfed.
Well, I mean, that is something to really be thought about because men can't afford to live in a world of fake everything. We can't. You know, that's a good way to die. You know, you got to know how the real world works as a man, no matter what. You know, because we gonna suffer consequences a lot quicker than they will. You know, and the thing is, as black men, why are we worried about women's consequences? Because we do that. You know, well, this don't happen to them, and this don't happen to them, and why we don't do this, they this don't happen. Why do you care? You know, just like the eviction stuff that I told y'all. Soon as I remember, I was on the show. I think it was BGS that mentioned something about how you didn't have to pay your rent right now, and I was like, that's a terrible idea. Because people gonna get evicted behind that. Well, you ain't got to pay your rent because COVID going on or whatever the case is. When all that get wrapped up, you know what I'm saying? It's like I hear you, but when all that get wrapped up, and now people got to pay, what they gonna do then? Why would you not pay your rent? It don't make sense. And then what happened when everything got lifted? Now we start hearing about black women being evicted. And to my understanding, it was already the most evicted. I'm pretty sure that COVID thing just put a little more in hyperdrive. And my thing is, we knew they was gonna get evicted. If we really thought about it, we should have known they was gonna get evicted. But why do you care? She could have paid her rent, and she chose not to. Of course, she's gonna be in a tougher situation. But she could have paid the whole time. People say, well, folks was out of a job. I'm gonna say realistically, if my money stopped because of COVID, mine did not stop. I'm not gonna lie, mine didn't stop. But if my money would have stopped because of COVID, you know what I would have did? I would have got a job at an essential company. Whatever was deemed as essential, I would have worked somewhere in that realm, some kind of way. Okay, point blank, period. Would I taking less money for certain? Well, if I ain't getting no money, ain't no such thing as less money. I would have. Why? Because I live in the real world, and I'm not gonna take no attitude that everything gonna work out just because COVID came and hey, we all struck. That don't mean they ain't gonna come get me. And that's just real talk. I mean, people made a lot of about the them stimulus check. I can count. That stimulus check was $1,200. How long is $1,200 gonna last you? I
Not even a
mean,
month.
realistically. So I can't depend on $1,200. And how many months had went past before they gave out a $1,200 check? I don't really remember, but I'm sure we was already like 7, 8, 9 months deep in it, and they talking about we gonna give you $1,200. Now I'm not saying I wouldn't take the money, but if I'm been out of work for 6, 7, 8 months, $1,200 ain't finna fix my problems, and that's just being for real. And I can't wait for COVID to go away for me to figure out how to get my money right. That's my attitude. A lot of folks just sat at home and watch TV. Cool. That's cool for you. Not for me, because I'm a man that live in the real world. I understand once the COVID thing go away, all the bills still have to be paid. If I was renting some, you know what I'm saying? If I'm renting some place and just wouldn't pay, I understand all that rent is now back is back rent now. Now they done lifted that. Now I got to get a landlord not to throw me out because I didn't pay nothing during COVID. Like, I'm not even setting myself up for something like that. It don't make no lick of sense whatsoever. I wouldn't would have got a job. That's what I would have did. Whoever's essential, that's where I'm applying. Because I know people gonna say, well, they want it wasn't like they was gonna be hiring a bunch of people during COVID. Whoever was essential, I was applying. Point blank, period. Because there ain't no excuse for me not to be able to pay. Nobody cares about my situation. The landlord wouldn't care. So I would never just not pay. It don't make sense. But women expected to make certain moves because they thought charity was gonna always be there. So now you got some homeless kids because charity wasn't there the way they expected it to, because they had to deal with a situation that was a little unusual. Because COVID was an unusual situation. But now you got homeless kids, right?
Yep.
And one like all the women who got evicted was living by themselves. There's plenty of kids that got evicted. And guess what? My heart goes out to the kid, but you can't come stay with me. When you want to get down to it, my heart goes out to you, but you can't come live here. You'll be all right. That's my thing. You better figure that out. This will help you during your adult life. If you as a child got to figure out how to provide for yourself, you're just going to be that much further ahead when you become an adult.
So you look at it as a teachable moment, like you saw what happened with your mom getting enough rope to hang herself, so you don't want to go that route.
I mean, straight up. I wouldn't know what to do if my mama got evicted when I was a kid. But because of how I was taught, I would have made it. Getting evicted sounds crazy to me. I would never expect to be evicted if I got a working man and a working body. I just don't understand getting evicted. I don't get that. And that's not me trying to say I'm better than somebody else. No, my daddy told me you got to pay wherever you stay since I was a child. We don't play about rents and mortgages and things like that. We just not gonna play with that. So I was gonna go get it some kind of way. And I'm not saying I had to commit no crime to go get it. I was gonna get it, and it was gonna be legal, because wasn't nobody gonna take it from me. One of the reasons I never got into selling drugs, because if they bust you, they take all your stuff anyway. What's the point of me getting a new Cadillac, riding around all good, getting a nice house, and getting something business, and then they take it all, talking about it was drug money? What was the point in all that?
Yeah, they get people on that confiscation, sometimes even if they don't even get like a conviction either. That's why people end up trying to put stuff in other people's names and stuff. Like, put it in your mom's name. Yeah, put it in your mom's name, dad's name, somebody's name.
And that's crazy right there. That's crazy. I mean, I get it. But my thing, that's a whole lot of risk, and I still ain't got nothing at the end of the day. And I'm gonna say, real talk, if you was out there selling drugs, would you really raise in a place where you can put in your mama name and you gonna actually be okay? Because a lot of mamas sold their drugs getting the sons out. Let me put in my mama name so I'll be straight. That sounds good. I know about a whole lot of women who sold their kids out. That's real talk.
Hey, Roger, and a whole lot of them drug dealer girlfriends and wives sold them out.
A lot of stuff changed when too much money on the table.
Yep.
So I wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? Well, I didn't come from with my family background. Thinking about would have put something in my mama's name, I guess it would have been okay. I would have put in my dad's name though. That's just me. I'm putting my dad's name. But you know what I'm saying? I know I'd be fine if it's in his name. You know what I'm saying? I'll assume I would be fine if it was in my mama's name. But I have seen a lot of situations where people put stuff in a relative's name and that money started talking. And they hit them with some, well, legally, you can't do nothing because it's mine. I done heard it. And my thing is for a person to be out there doing that much risk, and I understand people trying to provide better lives for themselves that they think they can get from somewhere else. If I got to do that much risk and then I put in somebody else's name and they hit me with the legally you can't do nothing because it's mine. See, now neither one of us gonna have it because I'm probably gonna kill you. So you ain't gonna have it. And if I can't get away with the murder, then I ain't gonna have it. But if I took that type of risk, yeah, something going down.
Hey, Roger, there's a lot of people here in Atlanta that done got some other people's stuff and then had to move out of New York and Chicago and come down to Atlanta.
Hey, I can believe that, bro. I definitely can believe that. I've seen a lot of foul stories about folks who done did some things. Now, you said
Yep.
when it came to a wife or a girlfriend, I done seen that play out too in an ugly way. You know, the house was in her name. Dude had to go to prison for 3 years, and all of a sudden he ain't welcome back no more. You know?
Yep.
That's a dirty game.
Yeah, dirty game.
Mm-hmm.
Dirty world we live in.
You can't be here, Tyrone over here. Girl, everything you got because of me. But that don't mean nothing to me. You might not say it in those terms, but literally saying that don't mean nothing to me. Just me and Tyrone right now.
And what Janet Jackson said, what have you done for me lately?
Right.
Oh, that's the worst thing ever. That's true, and it's also the worst thing ever. It's like if it wasn't like 5 minutes ago, it doesn't exist.
I give Janet credit for letting us know what time it was. We just didn't pay attention to what we should have. She was trying to tell us.
You're right. You're right.
No, she was trying to tell us.
I literally seen guys go and get that work and get that girl that baby Benz, and then a year or two later, she talking about that was last year. You ain't like you got to work 10 years to make that money to get that car for you, and now you just that's past.
And the time frame don't seem to matter because I done heard women say that was years ago. I done heard women say that was last week. The time frame don't matter. They could just throw it away. You know what I'm saying? Why are you talking about old stuff? You know, and it's a rough world out there. But that's what happened when you and even if you go through something illegal to get it yourself, when you can't put it in your own name, technically, y'all, that's charity because you have to put it in somebody else's name to keep it. So you technically, literally, just gave it away. Now, I'm not too quick to give stuff away because my father used to mess with us all the time when we was kids. Always talking about what we done gave away. You done went to school, you know, you done had your little hat or whatever. Now you lost the hat that you wanted. You come tell my father ain't gonna replace it. He gonna be like, well, why you give it away? You know what I'm saying? That's what he would do. He would ask you, why did you give it away? No, I ain't give it away. I lost it. He just, why you give it away? Now, and you get mad as I don't know what, because you done got this thing that you really wanted, you know? And then he ain't got it don't seem like it at the time. Ain't no comfort in you. He just gonna ask why you give it away. I thought you really liked that. Well, I did like it. You didn't like it enough not to give it away. And that was it. That's rough. Yeah. But you gotta do what you gotta do. And you know, I think just in general, we as Black men, we don't really pay attention to our relationship with women the way we should. And because we don't, we just give too much and we feel way too obligated to them. They struggle ain't your struggle. The only way your struggle is her struggle, that's got to be your wife. It's that simple at the end of the day. Everybody else can easily walk away. All right. Shout out to Inspired True Broadcast for joining us. He had to dip, but I appreciate it. And my thing is, when you see yourself dealing with women in any way, the intimate relationship you may have with one or the one that's not so intimate, does the relationship make sense to you? There's some women out here that could call me and I go over and do something for them because I done known them for such a long time, but they've always looked out for me. If I don't have that type of relationship with you, I don't know why you're going to call me about the blue. I don't get it. You know, and I am going to ask you about where your husband at. You know, because, you know, if he's trying to get something done, we can do that. You know, Well, it ain't really about him. It's just for me. When your husband tell me that he want to do something about whatever's for you, then I will help him get that done. And I do stuff like that because I don't want to be playing with nobody's wife behind some husband's back. Because stuff like that and it may not even be something where she trying to cheat on her husband. She just want what she want when she want it. And that's fine. That's between them. But my thing is, once you try to include me in your scenario, or can you do this for me? Just don't tell my husband. Nah, y'all, that's fire right there. Do you really want to play in those fires? Because what you got to do is think about, if it was your wife, how are you going to react? That's what you got to think about. Is it really going to be worth it to you if you had to deal with somebody who would treat you the way you would treat them? Is it really worth it to you? Especially to get some of her stuff done, some of her stuff accomplished. Is it that serious? Because I don't think it is. At least not for me. If you got to do it behind your husband's back, then you can do it without me. I don't even have to know your husband. I can know you. You could be somebody I worked with before. And you want me to do something, I'm going to well, where your husband at? You don't even know you never met my husband. Hey, I need to talk to him. Oh, I don't have to answer to him like that. Man, I need to talk to him. I can't help you if I don't talk to him. I don't care what relationship y'all got going on with each other. I'm not finna get myself stuck in some crazy situation because he come home one day, ain't never met me before. I don't know what he thinks. I don't know what you done said to him before he went to work. I don't know what you done said to him last week. I don't know nothing. So unless he give me the clearance, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Okay? Shout out to Gregory Scotland, y'all. He said, Roger, are these same women who aren't married yet want all men to help them or protect them? You know what? Absolutely, Gregory. And the thing is, what you need me to do that for you for? You good. If you can make it through this world without a husband, you obviously are pretty good at everything you need to deal with. That's all I can say. You got to give. Because I don't know why, from a realistic standpoint, it makes no sense for women who aren't married to not be trying to get a husband. And if you think cooking for a man is slavery, hey, I understand what you're saying, but I do think you are able to deal with the real world because you've taken on that attitude.
Hey, Roger. My wife just made me some chicken. I got some steak in the rice. I got some lentil beans and peppers and onions, Mexican, Colombian, and some Southern. I don't know what she's doing. And then she made me some natural juice. So I don't know. I guess I'm putting too much pressure on her. But she's I don't know.
I ain't gonna lie, Tunnel Runner. You be sounding like a well-fed man, real talk. And that's all good at the end of the day. That is all good.
Yeah, I got a smile on my face, so that's yeah. I'm content.
I guess you just have to make it do what you could get, huh?
Yeah, somebody got to suffer. Oh, now she's saying she understands, so I better be quiet. English is getting too.
Shout out to you, brother. Now, and to me, that's how women's supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to brag on your wife if you marry. Because a man that can't brag on his wife that's married, that's kind of admitting that there's a problem, And men should really even take it that way. Why would you get married to a woman you cannot brag on? That don't make sense. No. Now, I got a lot of aunties and uncles that's been married for a lifetime. And they're older folks, so they starting to pass away. So it's some widows in the family or whatever. But them guys can brag on their wives. Now, I wouldn't put that on my father because my father got divorced. But even with a person whose parents got divorced, I seen so many healthy marriages, they look like eyeballs to me. Like, why couldn't y'all make it work? Not that I'm gonna really press them about why they couldn't make it work, but at the end of the day, it's still about people making decisions. And as I've said before, if a woman has been with a man more than 6 months, she needs to be willing to follow that man the rest of her life. Because if she's not, only thing you're gonna do is create problems later. So I can't even blame my father for a divorce. Unless my mama gonna say he cheated on me, but she ain't never told me. That's her fault. I look at him and say, why you let that brother get away? If I was you, I wouldn't have let that brother get away. You know, fantastic father. You know what I'm saying? Never had an issue taking care of the home. Why would you let that get away? You know? But I know society would say, well, you know, he must have did something wrong. But maybe he did like a lot of men that I see. They're just too good. Because women will bail out of situations because the man is just too good. And they will say it. It sounds dumb as heck to me. But yeah, he was too perfect. I don't know what kind of idiot you got to be to surmise that somebody's too perfect. Because I ain't never had a problem with something being too perfect. That's a complaint I ain't never made in my life. Oh, this car is too perfect. This house is too perfect. This money is too perfect. I don't want nothing to do with it. I ain't never said something was too perfect ever in my life. I'm probably going to die before I ever say something is too perfect for me. And my thing is, what do you think of yourself if something can be too perfect for you?
That sounds like a chaotic mind. I don't want this car because it always starts. It always runs. I want a car that breaks down sometimes so I can have some drama in my life.
I want to go 10 miles and it work. But if I want to go 100 miles, it still work. I don't like this. Yeah, that's some insane thinking. And when you really put your mind to it, that's some insane thinking. Go ahead, Tyler. What you gonna say?
No, I said that's what's going on. That's what they actually said. They're actually saying that this man goes to work, he comes home, he brings me the money. I'm bored. I'm not happy. They want some excitement in their life, and they call instead of them going to go to Six Flags, they get divorced.
You know what? That's a good point. I told y'all, I talked to a white woman before. She was complaining. Her husband was playing Major League Baseball. I told her she's about the dumbest woman I ever came across in my life. She complained that he's not doing enough stuff. I said, what you mean? Well, you know, it's nice to be married to a guy that's playing Major League Baseball. And y'all know baseball the highest paying sport, right? You know, she like, well, you know, he don't plan time for us. He come home when he comes home and he do this and he do that. I'm like, do the man love you? She like, yeah. I said, is he cheating or something? Like, you got an issue with him cheating or something? She's like, no, he don't even cheat. So the man rich and he don't cheat. And your problem is he not planning out enough stuff to do for y'all as a family. She like, well, he don't make no effort. I say, man, the man playing Major League Baseball. How that ain't enough effort? He making enough effort to be on a major league roster. That's not effort, but it's a different type of effort. I say, so why can't you plan this stuff out? If you know his schedule and you living rich and you don't work yourself, how come you can't plan these little trips and things that you want done? What's wrong with you? And she looked at me like she was confused. You talking about your husband is Major League Baseball player. He going on road trips here and there. He got to play at home. You know his schedule, but you can't plan out the trip you want to go on. Well, he supposed to do it. He the man. Sound like he married the wrong woman. That's what it sounded like to me. Yeah, I can't say nothing bad about him. And this was a white woman talking about her white husband who was literally in Major League Baseball. I ain't gonna say what team, okay, but he's literally a Major League Baseball player. She sounded insane to me. Completely insane. You ain't got no
Roger,
job, but you can't plan out a trip for y'all to go on.
that what goes on with these guys. I mean, you got these women talking about your husband he works too much, and then they don't have time for us to go on these vacations or do this. He's working. He's making big time money. You got the car that you want. You got the house that you want. You got the kids you want. But they still want more.
What you know what? And I think a lot of the reason that they'll have men kill themselves to give them more because we just had this thing in our head that we just got to give them everything to their satisfaction. You know, my thing is that's not a good way to live your life. That puts extra stress on you, which means what? You're gonna die early. I'm not dying early over no chick. I'm gonna live as long as I can. Okay, I ain't dying early because she's not satisfied. If you're not cool with what I can provide you, you just need to rotate. You got to get up out of here. And that's real talk. You know, I ain't killing myself over no chick. I never thought I should, and I never will. The only thing I did get caught up with the propaganda when I was young is that she had to be a black woman. But I've never believed that I'm supposed to kill myself over some chick. And I ain't gonna never take that attitude on. You know, if you want something, just tell me what you want. I'll figure out a way to go get it. But if it's just too much, and I know there's so much work involved, I ain't gonna want to do it. I'm gonna just tell you straight up, I ain't gonna do that for you. Now you can hit me with some you don't love me or something like that. I don't love you enough to do that. I'll tell you straight up. Because I don't feel obligated like that. Okay? I don't feel it. It makes no sense to me. No.
I've seen a lot of good brothers, real good brothers, kill themselves trying to please somebody, and it's just a bad thing when it's not appreciated.
I don't sign up to die. That's me. All right. There's a lot of choices you can make in life. I don't sign up to die. I'll take a risk, but I'm not going to sign up to die. That's a little bit different. You know? So if it's too big, it's going to take too much work, and it's going to kill me, we just ain't doing it. Because I don't sign up to die. Now, we can take a risk for something. If we happen to die because we took that risk, that's one thing, but I don't sign up to die. That's crazy.
But Roger, she really wants that G-Wagon.
I ain't worried about that. Get you a toy. Heck, you be real good. I get your remote control G-Wagon. I buy you a video game with a G-Wagon in it. But if I got to kill myself to give it to you, you ain't getting it. It's just that's just the way it's gonna be, man. Point blank, period. Because I just don't feel obligated to kill myself over no woman, which is what a lot of women want us to do. They want us to feel obligated that we're willing to truly kill ourselves to make sure they okay. I'm not dying at 69, y'all. I'm not doing that one. I plan on retiring and getting so much money out of my retirement that they mad I won't die. I want my name to be recognized in some office. This nigga still alive? That's what I want them saying. This nigga still alive? So I'm gonna retire and be retired for a long time. Okay. And if I can make it happen, I'm gonna be as retired for every year I work. Okay. Real talk. So the last thing I'm about to do is have some woman stress me out and I'm dead at 71 because I've been stressed the whole time. Nah, I'm not doing that one. You know, a woman can be a great thing in a man's life. I'm never gonna tell y'all she can't be that. My thing is, do you require it out of her? And is that what it's gonna take for you to be with her like that? Because that's what it's gonna take for me. You know, I don't need you to be perfect. Just be decent, be good. Try to make my life better. If you don't want to try, I don't want to die with you. Because that's all I think gonna happen. You're gonna drag me down, try to suck up my life force, as they say, and now I'm dead early. I can't play that game. And shout out to Sirius Rock. He said facts. Major League Baseball is like winning the sports lottery. And that's real talk. But it did amaze me that this white woman was saying how she's so unsatisfied with this guy who's, and he was a known guy. It happened to me years ago, but he was a known guy, y'all. He was a known guy. Okay. So it ain't like he was just any base. He wasn't barely making the team. No, he was a starter in a Major League Baseball. The man was, well, now I don't really watch baseball, but he was a well-known guy. I'll tell you that. I'll say that he was a well-known guy. And my thing is, you ain't got no job. Why can't you just plan the stuff out? You know his schedule. You know the kid's schedule. You ain't got to report nowhere for 8 hours. Why you just can't plan the stuff out? Well, usually the man's supposed to plan stuff out. The man is doing something most men can't do. And in your mind, that don't give him a pass for you to plan out stuff? Like, all you got to do is figure out how y'all going to have fun together, and that's too much work for you? Because that don't make no sense. Now, I will say this, though. She was a white woman, and she actually listened to me. And she literally said she was going to do it. That's a lot different conversation I had with a lot of black women. You know, the white woman didn't need me to have a PhD. She didn't need me to be an author of a book. You know, she didn't need me to she didn't need me to be a Major League Baseball player. She just heard what I said. It made sense, and she said she gonna do it. And that's all it is to it at the end of the day. Okay. Now, as far as I know, that couple ain't never got no divorce, so I guess she did it. That's all I can tell you. Because I didn't know her. I was just in a certain location, and so we was talking, and that's all it is. You know? So she wasn't my friend or nothing, but they never got divorced. So I guess it worked. If it was just that easy for black women, well, I could just tell them, and they just do it, and everybody happy. That would be nice. But y'all, I'm gonna get ready to wrap this up because everybody done kind of dropped down but tunnel runner. We had 2 hours and 51 minutes. So I think enough has been said. I really believe, but I do think you really got to think about where you putting your charity as a black man. Realize that it's charity and have some requirements on about where you think your charity should go. Don't put it where they tell you to put it. Put it where you think is best. What you got to say to close us out, turn around?
Yes, we can. And when you can get these girls who are going to act right, be right, and do right by us. So make sure you find a woman who's going to do right by you. Make a good investment so that you can get some rewards on your investment.
And shout out to my main man, Jay Bones, coming through with the Cash App, saying, "What's up, Roger? Hey, what's up, brother? Always good to hear from you. Always good to hear from you." So I'm gonna get ready to close it on out, y'all. To me, it's been a good show. All I'm saying is, y'all think about what you're doing from a charitable standpoint. If she's not your wife, it's charity. If they're not your kids, it's charity. Okay? If it does not belong to you, it is charity. So really think about what you give away. Maybe you give away a lot less. Maybe you give away a little bit more. But make sure it's going somewhere where it can actually help you. If you don't see how it's going to come back and be a blessing to the community you belong to, there's no point in you doing it. Okay? If it's not going to help productive, respectable, functional black men, their wives, and their children, I no longer see a reason to put some charitable effort there. And that's real talk.
And one more thing, Roger.
Go ahead.
He's Roger, and he's right.
I appreciate that. And long live the habitual line steppers. We out of here on that one. We out of here.